know. So that's one of the things. Who are they going to put in there, and also what kind of offensive productivity are the Firebirds going to have?
You look at that productivity, nearly a quarter of the touchdowns that have been on the board this year by the Firebirds have been put up by two guys that are no longer with the team. We'll see one of them, Gary Compton, tonight with Grand Rapids.
And you got to figure Gary Compton's going to have a grudge match thing on his mind. Revenge is on his mind. May 13th, he was waived by the Firebirds, 4 touchdowns, had one interception return for a touchdown. Didn't think he had enough speed. It got Terrence Davis. He doesn't work out. So what's going to happen with the Firebirds? We really don't know.
They thought he was going to be the guy that would come in and replace Greg Hopkins. He wasn't fast enough for Mike Daly and his Firebirds. Daly needs all the speed he can get tonight defensively against Clint Dozell, one of the top quarterbacks in the Arena Football League, a second-team AFL selection a year ago. Here's Coach Daly on his plans for number 13.
Well, Clint Dozell, you know, their quarterback, he's really a great player, really the heart and soul of their team, and does a great job. So they got a good football team. They're really playing well right now, and it's going to be a struggle for us.
Twice last year, Clint Dozell was an AFL Player of the Week in both games he played against the Firebirds.
He's a true gunslinger, Mark, from the old days. This guy can get back there and throw the ball. Not a lot of mobility, but Clint Dozell will hurt you with those quick throws and his ability to get the ball to the guys that needs to. 19 touchdowns between both of these two, Raymond Filliard and Clint Dozell, in the last 3 games. So it's a wash as far as who's going to make that big play.
Dozell spent a little bit of time with the Dallas Cowboys, and I guarantee you that when you watch him play here tonight, you're going to wonder why the Cowboys didn't have him stick around. He's always good against the Firebirds. We'll see if the home team D can come up big and get enough stops to get the victory tonight. Firebirds football on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. By Methodist Sports Medicine Center in partnership with Clarion Health, the official medical provider of the Indiana Firebirds. By Miller Brewing Company. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. And by National Car Rental. Go your own way with National Car Rental.
Kickoff between the Rampage and Firebirds is just a few minutes away here on Fox Sports Net. Hi again, everybody. Paul Jones once again down on the sidelines here at Conseco Fieldhouse. And really, it is a crucial game for the Indiana Firebirds tonight, because if the playoffs were to start today, as you take a look at the standings with the top 12 teams making the postseason, the Firebirds, well, they would be in, but barely. They hold that 12th playoff spot, and they are hovering oh so close, teetering oh so close to not making the postseason. So these final 4 games of the regular season are crucial. I asked head coach Mike Daly if all of them are must-win situations.
Oh, I think it is, and you know, it probably was last week when we came up short. I mean, it's the circumstances when you're struggling, every win's important. So we have to go out there and play like that and give ourselves an opportunity and see what happens.
And the scary thing for Firebirds fans is the fact that after this game tonight, Indiana is headed off to San Jose to take on the SaberCats, the only unbeaten team left in the Arena Football League so far this regular season. As for tonight, it's the Grand Rapids Rampage against the Firebirds. We'll see what happens on Fox Sports Net. Kickoff is coming up next.
Mark Patrick and Charles Arbuckle back at Conseco Fieldhouse as we prepare ourselves for kickoff tonight. Grand Rapids and the Firebirds of Indiana. Firebirds lose the toss. Grand Rapids wins it, and for the first time this season, the team that won the toss has decided to receive. Generally, they have deferred to the second half, but that means Grand Rapids will get the opportunity to hit the scoreboard first. And generally, with these two teams, team that has the ball first scores first.
You're
Here's your injury report brought to you by Methodist Sports Medicine Center.
2 guys on defense, a defense where you need to stop Clint Dozell. Cornelius Coe-out, Sean Foreman. There's a lot of changes that are occurring, and this is 2 key guys that you need to have in there, Mark.
Sean Foreman not only with a hurt right hand, but also he lost the E in his name. So very serious problem. Tonight's kickoff is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. Well, there's Gary Compton, who we hope won't be that big a factor against the Firebirds tonight. He was certainly a factor the first 2 times these teams got together for the Firebirds.
Exactly, Mark. He's a guy that they brought in, thought he could replace Greg Hopkins. Didn't quite work out here. He goes back to Mark Trigg, who he played with in college, Clint Dozell, alumni of East Texas State. So there's a lot of history between those 3 guys.
So Nelson Gardner is teeing it up to kick off for the Firebirds, and back deep for Grand Rapids is Darren Graham, one of the new faces, and well, he's out of IU, so you probably recognize 17. Spent a lot of time with the Hoosiers.
And Ben Davis High School also.
So he's got more than a couple of people in the stands to see him tonight. He'd love to do well, as Nelson's got it ready, and this game is underway. Graham takes it off the net, stumbles, gets in the middle of the field, and he's hit there by Hugh Hunter. And he gets it out to about the 10-yard line. A 14-yard return. It'll be 1st and 10 Grand Rapids.
Mark, I'll tell you, Coach Will Pope, the defensive coordinator, came up to me. Buck, do you know Darren Graham? I said, yeah, I covered him in high school. They didn't have anything on him. He's an offensive specialist tonight. So that's how this thing works. Both teams are making a lot of changes.
Hey, Grand Rapids at 6-4 is in much better shape than the Firebirds, but still struggling for them, as they were the Arena Football League champions. Saw a lot of hardware down there on that sideline before the game tonight, Buck. A lot of new championship rings as Dozell puts Compton in motion. And a rare handoff to start the game. And that's going to be about a gain of 5 for Chris Ryan, the 300-pounder out of Clark.
Well, you know, Big Chris, if you got a ring, Mark, it's a big bling-bling. He's a huge bling-bling, trying to get in there and make some yards. 4 yards right off the top, which is excellent carry in the Arena game.
That's the first time we've ever seen a running play on the first play of the game.
I bet you for the Grand Rapids also that the Rampage are normally throwing the ball in the air first play.
Graham is to the left. In motion on the right side is Willis Marshall. Dozell looks Marshall's way. He's got him, and he stopped short of a first down there by Evan Lavasek. And it'll be 3rd and 1.
Now, we talk about changes for the Rampage. There's also a lot of this defensive secondary, so let's see how they cover. You can see right there, Willis comes off strong. Lavasek with a lot of speed comes up, prevents the first down. You're going to see Greg Williams in that defensive backfield. You'll see Donnie Caldwell, a guy out of Western Illinois that they really want to see, a rookie in this secondary.
See if they don't pick on Caldwell a little bit, as this is his first appearance for the Firebirds. On the left side is Marshall. Dozell, a little bit of movement in the backfield, and boy, Clark has stopped. I'm sorry, Chris Ryan has stopped. And it's going to be 4th down and about, I'm going to call it 17¼ inches, Buck.
Very close. I tell you, one of the guys that makes this stop, you're going to see in there, in tight, Mike Gantos, big number 74. You see a big scrum of bodies, but 74 goes and stops in the backfield. However, Grand Rapids doesn't care. They're such a short distance. They are going for it. Their field goal kicker has not been active. 3 of 7 field goals, more on the PATs, Mark, 60 of 69 this year.
So Graham goes to the right side, 4th down and 17 inches. See if Dozell doesn't try and get the Firebirds offside. He makes the handoff again, and this time Ryan's got the first down. Three carries on the opening drive.
Hey, that's the whole game for some guys. Leroy Thompson and Rich Young are jealous. But I'll tell you though, you see this thing with Dozell. He gets help from the sideline, but he calls about 60% of his plays. Just blocking, ISO blocking on those guys, picking up some yardage. He calls about 60 to 65% of his plays. They have that much confidence in him. He just gets help from his offensive coordinator.
Darren Graham's a familiar face to Indiana fans. So too is number 27, Michael Blair out of Ball State. He's not in the game now. We'll make sure and let you know if he does arrive. 1st and 10 for the Rampage. And that ball's got a lot of air under it. And that allowed Lavasek to come over and plaster Darren Graham.
And I'm disappointed in those fans in the stands. You got to make the catch.
You got to make that play.
You don't put it back in the field of play.
And the disappointing thing is it's the dad. You know, he's got to make that play right here because Lavasek put it right in his lap.
That's right there. You got to get that.
Look at the dad. Look at the dad. And not only does he not make the play, Buck, but fumbles it back onto the field.
This isn't Wrigley Field. You don't throw the ball back in. You keep it and take it home.
2nd down and 10 for Dozell. This time he puts Graham in motion to the left side. The quick pitch over to Gary Compton. He's got a first down and more as he gets down to about the 18-yard line. It's never pretty, never quick, but Compton just gets the job done.
He's compact and powerful, though, Mark. He's played this game a long time. Gary Compton's going to catch that quick rock, and then you're going to see guys out in front. He's strong and physical. Not what he lacks in speed, he makes up in power. And I think that's one of the things with Gary Compton. He thought he really had a chance in Indiana to help them out. It didn't work out. It's working out for the Rampage.
And we're going to see on the other side of the football, too, he's a really smart linebacker. Exceptionally good at crouching and getting those interceptions. Graham in motion on the right side. Dozell looks, throws, finds his man on the sideline and knocked out of bounds is Willis Marshall. A gain of about 6. It'll be second down and a long 3 or 4 for Grand Rapids.
And Mark, how many times have you seen guys that are coming in for the first time happen to Juan Alfonso? Whenever they get into this new game or haven't played all year, like Donnie Caldwell, you may miss a tackle. You may come up, your angle may be wrong. There's no sideline to protect you. Luckily for Donnie Caldwell, the receiver steps out of bounds.
So second down for Clint Dozell, as we mentioned, the gunslinger out of East Texas State. Always plays well against the Firebirds. Compton in motion. Dozell with a bump. Throws it away, and that play isn't made in the stands either, but it's the first ball that's going to go into the stands. And we finally got a guy that's really being aggressive over there to make the play.
And he gives it back. Hey, I'll tell you what, these guys are very efficient down here. They score a lot of points. But you can see that the 2 ladies miss at that time. But they're so upset with not getting that ball.
Now here's the key. He gave it to the kid.
Yeah.
Now that's the direction to go right there. Nice play. Third down, about 3.5 yards for Grand Rapids. Compton in motion. Dozell looks his way, and Lavasek makes Compton pay for the tip pass. And it's fourth down. Grand Rapids is looking at a 4th and 3, and they are keeping their kicker, Brian Goins, on the bench.
Well, I'll tell you what, Hugh Hunter makes this play happen because he gets up there and tips the ball. Compton, looking for Compton on Lavasek. Right here, they're trying to get in the red zone where they're 81% scoring, 47 to 58 in the red zone the Rampage are. But you got to figure the Firebirds have to come up with stops. All these new guys, people need to make plays.
Remember, the red zone's the 10-yard line in arena football. 4th and 3, Compton. In motion, Dozell throws, and it is incomplete. A nice play by Caldwell as they were looking at Willis Marshall. And 10 plays in the drive. The Firebirds come up with their biggest play on the 10th. Indiana looks to get on the board first when we return. It's nada. Well, Darren Graham out of Ben Davis is quickly becoming a favorite of Clint Dozell, but he was denied on this opportunity, Bob.
Well, he lost Terrell Shaw early, and look, Evan Lavasek covering him right there, and then deep in the back, Donnie Caldwell makes a nice play.
First and 10 Birds, and quickly we find out that Van Johnson has got some speed as he gets down and gets the first down for the Birds inside the 15. 24 yards on the game. First and 10 Birds.
9 straight games this guy has scored a touchdown, so you got to figure he's going to make it 10 straight. Van Johnson has had a breakout year this year. Look at that. This is how you attack this defense. They're not very good. They give up a lot of points. The Firebirds have to attack the Rampage's defense to give their offense some help, as well as their defense with a lot of young players.
Eddie Brown is in motion on the left side. Touchdown, looking to get to the zone. That's where he finds him. Touchdown!
Mark, it looks like he's getting back to his old self. You see the celebration by the players. You haven't seen this in a couple of weeks. The Firebirds are fired up. One reason why. This is the people that knocked them off in the semifinals. They know they can beat the Rampage. They've done it this year. They always play close games, and I'll tell you, Eddie Brown looked like he's a step faster tonight. Looked like that MCL is all the way back healthy. You can see here just working on the defender, doesn't have a chance. You know, if you're the guy in the back and you're covering Eddie Brown, you have to have a little bit closer coverage.
Nelson Garner finds the middle of the net. 2 plays, 38 yards, 16 yards on the touchdown, and the Firebirds lead it 7-0. And that's one of your shorter touchdown drives. And when you consider that they took some 6 minutes plus off the clock and did not score to open the game, Buck, that's a great answer by the Firebirds.
Well, there's two things working, Mark. They really have to come back and play hard because a lot of guys' jobs are on the line right now.
The best damn sports show, period. All-Star Summer continues Monday at 8 and 11 here on Fox Sports Net. Take another look at the touchdown, Buck, because Eddie Brown wants more than anything to get about 6 on the board tonight.
Well, and Kenyatta Morgan is back there covering him. I'm sorry, excuse me. Todd Joseph. It looked like a 3, number 9. It doesn't matter. 3, 9, 6, whoever you put back on him.
It's actually Joseph Todd.
Joseph Todd.
Yeah, he's one of those guys with, you know what Mark Patrick always says, never trust a guy with 2 first names. Here's the Ace Rent-A-Car drive summary. 2 plays, 38 yards, 1:35 coming off the clock. Kenyatta Brown, the 16-yard touch. So Nelson Garner now to kick off. And again, Darren Graham out of Indiana, he is deep. Nelson's been excellent on his kickoffs of late. This one finds the bar. It's a live football. Oh my, the Firebirds with a chance to recover. Did they get it before it went out of bounds? Mark Valvo comes up with the football, but instead the call will go to Grand Rapids because it found the out of bounds line. It looked as if Greg Williams was going to be all over this one, Buck, and he just couldn't make the Karen play.
You know, the ball gets to him, and that's an excellent play by number 6 there, coming over and just knocking him away from the ball. That's what you got to do. Good play by the Rampage. Greg has a chance, but Michael Baker, veteran guy, understands how to make the play, dislodges the ball.
Baker, generally the offensive specialist for Grand Rapids, not in the game. He's back in the game now, but a nice catch in the stand. And I'm telling you what, that is a WNBA wannabe right there, Buck. She made a fine play.
She made a heck of a grab, huh? I'll tell you, Baker also was the MVP of the World Bowl last year, Arena Bowl, excuse me. And wide receiver linebacker has been banged up. Gary Compton comes over, so he has to split time with Gary Compton, but still a proficient player. May retire after this year, Mark.
That is Baker on the right side. The touchdown maker is number 6. Dozell looks his way. Now he throws the other way. Hangs it out there for Willis Marshall. And Dozell has not been as accurate tonight as he generally is, Buck.
Looks like a little bit more pressure. He's also working with some different guys that he doesn't seem accustomed to. And I think that's one of the real keys. You have to have guys that you feel comfortable and confident in. And I don't know. Darren Graham is his new offensive specialist. Steve Smith has played OS. Look at the pressure here. Excellent job. Gantos, fired up, boy. When you get a chance to play, you got to make the most of it.
I tell you what, you bury him in the turf like that, you feel it on the shoulder. 0 for his last 5, Clint Dozell. And he's got a 3rd and 10. 3 of 9 for 23 yards on the night so far. Baker in motion on the right side. Dozell pressured again. This time he's got his man. It's Graham, and he's got a first down. It found his fingertips, then found his hands, and it found the 23-yard line for GR.
I'll tell you what, with this defensive backfield, they can also play man, but what you got to do, these two guys are matched up. Greg Williams tries to stay inside, but Darren Graham double clutching. Hadn't played in a while, but he still has that speed and that ability. Greg Williams doesn't know him, so he has to give him respect. He also had to come up and cover it. And Darren Graham is already showing why he's the OS for tonight.
1st and 10 for Grand Rapids now. To the left go Marshall and Baker. Marshall's going to come in motion. Dozell is back. Looks at Graham. Now he throws deep. Lavasek cuts over. Not in time. Touchdown Grand Rapids, Willis Marshall.
Heck of a play by Willis Marshall out of Youngtown State. I mean, Lavasek was right there on him. Look at this laying out for the ball. You're going to see a lot of man coverage. Like I said, Lavasek turns around, gets in position, but stumbles a little bit. Willis Marshall is out there and able to just come up with a nice grab for 6. And Dozell, we talk about being able to, look where he throws that ball, Mark, right to this back pylon here. Only his guy can make the play.
That's a perfect throw. Outstanding throw by Dozell. And now Goins comes on. He turned his ankle in pregame warmup. We'll see if it's a factor here. He goes ahead and puts it between the pipes. So Brian Goins ties this game at 7. We've got 3:22 left in the first. The Birds try and answer next on Fox Sports Net. Mark Patrick and Charles Arbuckle back as Grand Rapids ties it at 7.
Well, Lavasek makes the turn, Mark, and then right here, you're going to see the foot get tangled up with Willis Marshall. Marshall able to keep on track. That ball was thrown only where he could catch it. Excellent job, excellent catch by Marshall as well.
Little change for the Birds. Evan Lavasek is back now for the kickoff. Brian Goins, who is also a pretty familiar face to football fans in the state of Indiana. He's kicked for Northwestern 4 years before going to Grand Rapids, and this is his second year. Now, how can the ball blow off the tee? Is the air conditioning that strong?
Well, if this was Giant Stadium or the Meadowlands where the air swirls, we can understand. Lavasek, 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this year.
This one's going to fall just to the bottom of the net. Lavasek's got it. He's up the middle. Compton hits him there and brings him down at about the 12-yard line. Got some help from Travis McDonald out of Missouri. And a 15-yard return sets up the Birds for 1st and 10 at the 12. Well, despite the touchdown on the opening drive, the Firebirds are going to try Damian Craig here in the second drive. And he is a big body, 6'1", 200 out of Auburn. And he spent 4 seasons with the Carolina Panthers, Buck. Didn't get a lot of playing time, but he is a guy that the Firebirds coaching staff like. He's got his first pass away, and it is to another new face, Brian Dolph out of Saginaw Valley State, 6'3", 210, first down.
The thing with Damian Craig, he and Raymond Field are going to split off. They want to see Brian Dolph as well. You're going to see some new players. It's almost like a preseason game because they don't have any next year. With the short off season, you want to see if guys like Brian Dolph can do his thing. Damian Craig, you know, he's been around the league, spent 4 years in the league, played in the NFL Europe, can make plays. If you remember his name at Auburn, you're not wrong. That's the same Damian Craig.
You know, Dolph is very reminiscent of Gary Compton. They're virtually the same size. Damian Craig looks to the end zone. Nice little scramble out, but he throws a little too far for Caldwell. And we may have interference. Joseph Todd was really hanging on to James Johnson in the end zone, the new wide receiver out of Notre Dame that the Firebirds have signed.
And he's the offensive specialist taking the place of Eddie Brown on this drive.
Holding, defense, number 9, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
So it was on Joseph Todd, who sounds like a radio guy, morning radio guy. But Joseph Todd here. Hey, good morning to you. You were holding.
Hey, Mark, all 4 of the specialists are new. All of them have not seen much action this year, so let's see if these guys can put some points up. They want to have a chance to prove, you know, Damian Craig has been waiting to get on the field all year long.
He looks bigger than the 6'1", 200 that he's listed at. He's got the big arms working, and he's also got James Johnson in motion on the left side. Now he comes to the right, the fake handoff. Craig's going to run the ball. He got all kinds of room. Touchdown!
And that's what he brings to you. That's what Damian Craig. He's going to elevate the game for Raymond Field-Yaw. They're going to celebrate together, but you know these guys want to get to the playoffs, so whatever it takes, 1 and 2, 2 and 1, do it how you can do it.
I'll tell you what, this was really impressive. You could see this open up. The play fake is what carried it, and then just the necessary block out here by Dolph, and it's a 6.
And Leroy Thompson was looking for somebody to hit. He was just an escort service. Didn't have to hit anybody. Just goes to help the celebration.
Field-Yaw is back to hold for Nelson Garner on the extra point. And Nelly's got it blocked. You can't take your time on these anymore.
And that's a live ball. If it gets hit on this side, Big 75, is he's able to pick it up, he can run with it. If it
that
goes
was Lucas Yarnell on the block.
Past the line of scrimmage, it's a dead ball.
Damian Craig didn't waste any time on the 6-yard touch, 38 yards, plus a penalty in 2 plays. You could see they just had the crush right up the middle. And you were speaking of Leroy Thompson looking for somebody to block on the touchdown. He had somebody to block on the extra point and didn't do it. take a look at the touchdown again, Buck, from upside.
You're going to see these guys all working out here. Damian Craig with the fake this way. Then it's going to just be touchdown city.
What did you just draw on there?
Oh, I showed you a whole bunch. Look, you see that? Look at that.
That's a mess.
Yeah, but it's all going to work out the way
I'll tell you what, that's where he went.
I told you. Listen to me. Now, this comes from inside pressure. Leroy Thompson is looking. Great job by big Lucas Yarnell. Most big guys get the ball to hit him in the face or hit him in the stomach because they're not used to getting there. Good job by him with the block. Bad protection by the Firebirds. You can see Damian Craig on the phone there talking to Coach Brian Partlow up top. He's still up top in the third level, relaying the plays or what he wants down to Willie Wood Jr.
So the Firebirds lead it only by 6 with 1:03 left here in the first quarter as Nelson Garner lines it up. He's got the deep kick back, and again, off the net, where it is played by Darren Graham. He doesn't find much room until he bops outside. Now he's got a block and some running room. Garner makes a flagrant attempt. He doesn't make it. Finally brought down at the 4-yard line by Caldwell. A nice return from Darren Graham, who looked like he had no room, but he ends up going 50 yards to the 4-yard line to set up 1st and goal for Grand Rapids.
Mark, sometimes when you have changes on special teams, that hurts you also. When new people come in, Brian Dolph's a new guy. You can see those guys get outflanked. Hugh Hunter goes inside with Dolph. There's no one outside. Nelly doesn't have a chance with Darren Graham, who has excellent speed. Track guy out of high school. Excellent receiver at IU. Didn't really get a chance to catch the ball much there, but you can see that speed.
Grand Rapids looks for a quick answer here as Gary Compton goes in motion on the right side. Dozell throws to Compton, and he drops the football. I thought he was already spiking it, Buck.
GC wants that one again because that was their form. What they do is clear out the outside receiver. All he does is run a little 5-yard out move. You're going to see him come right in, boom, right outside. You can't cover it as a defender.
Wow.
Compton takes his eyes off the ball, knows he should have that one. Lavastak is saying, woo, that was close.
You know what, he couldn't decide whether to catch that in a basket or turn his hands a la Fred Volitnikov with a couple of backhands.
And that's true, Mark. That's one of the toughest. That's where you get handcuffed because the ball is coming so quick you can't turn it up or down.
15 minutes have passed, and the Firebirds lead the Rampage, but Grand Rapids is knocking on the door. After one quarter, Indiana leading 13-7, and it almost was a tie game with this near catch.
Receiving skills 101. Do you get the thumbs in or thumbs out? Gary Compton doesn't know which one to do, and you can see the ball goes right through his hands. Meaning you keep your thumbs out, you try to catch it that way, keep your thumbs in. Sometimes you can bat the ball away. Gary Compton does neither, drops the rock.
Well, he did one of each, Buck, and that rarely works. So Compton now is to the right side along with Willis Marshall. Compton's going to go in motion. He takes the fake. Dozell throws and overthrows the big fella. That's Israel Rayborn. And decent little kick over there by Hugh Hunter, who was tangling up with Gary Compton.
And see, these guys played together last year, so they're familiar with each other. You know, Gary Compton been around this league, was with Milwaukee. Hugh Hunter with Milwaukee also. You know, there's some things been said before this game between those two guys, former teammates.
I was down there on the field before the game, Buck, and Israel Rayburn was one big target for Dozell to miss.
Not fast enough, though. You know, the thing is, he couldn't get that motor running.
3 receivers to the right. Compton, Marshall, and Graham. Dozell throws to nobody. It looked like Compton wanted to go find the open area, but he was either getting covered exceptionally well or interfered with, maybe a little of both, and that sets up 4th down and goal from the 5.
I'll tell you what, you're going to see these guys locked up. Watch right here, Gary Compton, and you're going to see Greg Williams just hold him, but Gary Compton doesn't do anything, and Greg Williams has him inside where the official can't see it in the back. Good job by Greg Williams. G-Dub locks him up.
So a 20-yard field goal attempt from Brian Goins as Grand Rapids just tries to get some points out of it, and he misses it. It's a live football, and Hamill takes the girl way out and heads out of bounds. What a manly play. Nice stop by the Firebirds. They're second of the game, and you got to wonder, as I mentioned, Goins turned an ankle in pregame warmups, and he doesn't look real comfortable.
Well, and he was warming up to try to keep his foot moving, but you can see doesn't have a good kick there. You know, Todd Hamill, fortunately for him, recovers the ball.
Well, he hasn't lasted 10 years in this league by taking any unnecessary hits. I've always maintained backup quarterback in the NFL is the best job in America. In the Arena League, it might be the second best.
And he ranks as an AFL all-time leading passer, so you know he has a gun over there as well.
So Raymond Filial is back now for the Firebirds, and that is Jay Jones in motion on the right side. Raymond goes the other way to Eddie Brown, puts his shoulder down, and gets close to a first down to about the 20-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down and 2 for the Birds.
You know, I don't think people realize how physical Eddie Brown is, but he goes down. DeMont Smith comes up, thinks he's going to lay the hammer on him. Watch this. Right at the last second, Eddie's just going to run a hitch route. Watch this. Put your head down. Boom! You got to bring the funk, you bring the noise, DeMont. Not on that play.
2nd and 2 after the 8-yard gain. Eddie is to the left again. He goes in motion, joining Van Johnson on the right side. Filial, plenty of time, throws deep and throws it away as Eddie was open, but it was a little too high for anybody to handle. The Fan couldn't make the play. Those guys would be loading up on pigskin over there if they had any hands.
Well, I tell you, I mean, that side there has been notoriously bad. We saw one drop over here to the side where we are with the Rampagers, the sideline, but that other sideline, they've had one lady make a nice grab. Other than that, I haven't seen much good, Mark.
3rd possession of the night for the Firebirds. They've scored on their first 2. Brown in loop motion to the right side. Jones and Johnson to the left. The J.J. Bravos. Raymond's going to run for the first down, and then he's going to get out of bounds. Compton will make sure he stays out, and that's a first down, Birds. On a good play from Raymond. Nice coverage from the Grand Rapids defense that time.
You know, Gary Compton's a classy guy. You know, he really wasn't happy with his release here. He had a blow-up shot on Raymond, doesn't take it because Raymond's already out of bounds. You've seen Kelvin Kinney and some other guys we've seen earlier in the year that would have just tried to plaster Raymond Filial.
You think it had anything to do with it being right in front of the Firebirds bench?
Well, I mean, he's running at that angle. He's telling Raymond now, next time I see you over at Dr. Pepper's house, I'm going to plaster you into it.
1st and 10 for the Firebirds. Edison loop motion to the left side this time. Quick pitch on the right side to the short side to Richard Young. And he's got very little.
That's an awful tough run on that side when you pitch it. If your running back doesn't get a chance to go. If Rich Young can get past that first wave, he probably picked up more yards, but you have such a short side of the field. It's already a narrow field you're playing on. You give yourself even a more compressed angle on the short side.
2nd down and about 8 for the Firebirds. Probably just trying to keep their defense off the field a little bit, Buck. The Grand Rapids offense has had lots of time in possession here, and that's a completion to Van Johnson, who looked as if he was a bit stunned to kiss the wall over there as Joseph Todd made sure he was out of bounds.
Yeah, I tell you, you know, Van took a shot on this same side, and he was braced for it. Tried to keep his feet in bounds, but he went just out enough, Mark. Thought he could keep that angle and keep going.
So it is a gain of 7 and makes it about 3rd and a yard and a half for the Firebirds. That's Van Johnson in motion on the right side. Stop and go motion. Raymond, just a bad throw that time to Jay Jones. He overthrows him. And that sets up a 4th down for the Firebirds. And Nelson Gardner is going to come on. Buck, I'm kind of surprised by this move. Firebirds have a lot of momentum here. It was the first incomplete pass of the night for the Firebirds.
They're trying to rub with Van. Van, all he can do is just move up. Really, that ball, Raymond doesn't want to throw it on the rope because you got a guy coming over the top.
33-yard field goal attempt for Nelson Gardner. Filial to hold. Let's see if we don't fake this one, Buck. Oh, Nelly's going to put his foot in it. He has it up and good. Wow. 33 yards, and it found the center. The Firebirds lead it 16-7.
ladies and gentlemen, the Holland Globetrotters.
Not everything can be as good as the original, but Diet Dr. Pepper is. Diet Dr. Pepper.
You the man, over there!
Tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper.
Hi, Firebird fans. I'm Jackie Lyons for Budget Car Sales and Leasing, a very proud supporter of the Indiana Firebirds. Register now at any one of our locations for a chance to win free tickets to an upcoming game. And when you register, check out our great vehicles. We've got next to new vehicles at prices that are up to 37% less than new. We take trades and we offer financing to everyone. Check us out online at budgetindy.com and save more. Go Firebirds!
Back at Conseco Fieldhouse, and the Firebirds have scored on all 3 possessions tonight, Buck.
Well, I'll tell you, Raymond Filliard, Eddie Brown right away, Damian Craig showing that athletic ability, the things that made him great at Auburn as well as in the pros his 4 years there. And you got to figure the Firebirds, with all the changes, know that guys have to play tonight. And I think what also happens too, Mark, is these general managers are really concerned because they don't have a lot of time next year, but I think they're pressing the buttons a lot quicker because you don't have preseason games next year. You have a compressed schedule and you're going to happen a lot quicker.
Let's go down to the sideline now where Paul Jones is standing by with an all-important update.
Oh, yes, this is crucial, Mark. Raymond Filliard 4 for 6 passing tonight, a touchdown, pretty good numbers, but I think the thing he's more proud of is the fact that his face is on the hottest new giveaway here at Conseco Fieldhouse, the first 4,000 fans receiving the Raymond Filliard Celebraduck. It's a pretty good look. Sammy Sosa, Vince Carter, Jason Giambi, some of the professional sports stars who have had their face on these Celebraducks. And I think, Mark, the new pacer, Fred Jones, may be the perfect candidate for the next one, right?
Oh, a little play on the Oregon Ducks, see?
Yeah, I see Paul working it. Come on, PJ, you can't work it like that, man.
It looks a lot like Raymond Filliard, except that I don't understand why they put Joan Rivers' bill on there. Nelson Garner kicks off. This one just catches the bottom of the bar, and it's a live football. Gary Compton makes the catch, and flags go down simultaneously. We'll see what the call is. That's either tremendous field position for the Firebirds or a back-breaking penalty. Let's see what they come up with. That is a perfect kick right there, Buck, because it gives the Firebirds an opportunity to recover. Here's the call.
Interference, 5-yard violation on the kicking team, number 5. 5-yard penalty from the 5-yard line. First down.
I hate this rule, Mark.
Well, it's just like a touchback. What is it?
You know, the thing is, they say you got to give the receiver a chance to catch the ball. But right here, when it gets off of that crossbar, it becomes live. So if you're Jay Jones, you know I can't interfere with this guy, but I got to get this football if it's there.
Does he have to let him catch it?
He has to give him just enough space to catch the ball, and then if it comes out wide all the way out, then he's okay. But right there, they say that he interferes because Gary Compton is making an attempt to catch the football.
You didn't answer my question.
It's a screwy rule. That's the bottom line.
Buck, are you going to answer my question?
He has to allow him to catch it if Gary Compton is in the process of catching it. If the ball comes out like we saw over here, where it's a live ball.
So what if he's a yard away from him and he goes up and knocks it away? You can't do that?
You got to take it up with the league, man. I'm just telling you how the rule is written.
All right. 2nd down and 10. Testing the arena football acumen of one Charles Arbuckle. Gozelle goes deep, a lot of air under it, and Marshall had his hands on it, but loses it at the last second. It looked like Willis was going to bring that down. Nice coverage from Lavasek, but again, a perfect throw by Dozell.
And they've tried to go to Willis a couple of times here. Excellent job by him of just working on Lavasek. Lavasek trying to catch up with him right on those fingertips.
0 for his last 5 again. Dozell's had 2 such stretches in this game. I'll tell you what, you can't throw that ball much better.
Well, and those are plays that he's accustomed to his guys coming up with. You put the ball where you're supposed to, your receivers have to help you out.
3rd down and 10 for Grand Rapids. Graham has been quiet after a blazing start. He's in motion on the left side. Dozell with a pump, looks at Graham. It flutters, and Darren comes down with it. That's a first down at the 23.
I'll tell you what, that ball was fluttering out, tipped at the line of scrimmage, but Darren Graham had a presence of mind to stay with the football. If you're the OS, you're going to be the come-to guy. If you don't make the plays, you won't be in there long, but Darren Graham trying to show himself. Good job of concentration. Have two guys on him. Still comes up with a nice play.
I think Mike Gano's kind of got a hand on that one, caused it to flutter a little bit, but Graham, as you mentioned, Buck, was able to keep his eye on it and bring it down. So he picks up a pretty good first down and a gain of 13. Dozell. More time this time. Looks at Graham again. Lots of air under it, and really good coverage by Greg Williams.
Greg Williams, an excellent cornerback out of North Carolina. You can see why. He looks at the receiver. When he sees the receiver's eyes get big enough, he works and becomes a receiver himself. Now watch here. In this game, you can see touching the guy all the way down, and in the last second, he sees Graham's eyes or his hands go up, mine goes up as well.
You always see in the NFL when they get down in goal line situations on the lob play at the end zone, and the defensive back is supposed to be watching the eyes of the receiver, and he never does. That time Greg Williams did. That may be the first time I've ever seen a guy actually do it. Compton's in motion. Dozell, lots of time, guns it out, and he's got his man again, Darren Graham. But he's going to be short of a first down to set up about a 3rd and 1.
And Dozell is so effective at looking on one side and throwing the ball across his body in a sense, almost like a sidearm pitcher. He has the knack to do it and know where the receiver is, Mark. That's what makes it so unique.
You called him a gunslinger in the open, Buck. That's what he looks like out of East Texas State. Got a 3rd and 1 here. Grand Rapids has run the football on a couple of different occasions. Let's see if they hand it to Chris Ryan here. Compton's in motion. Dozell's going to throw Gary's way, and he's got the touchdown. He knew how to catch that one. And once again, the Rampage answer.
You give Gary Compton a two-way goal. Lavasek doesn't have a chance right there. I mean, you isolate him, and you have that ability to come up in motion. You can see right away he looks outside Dozell, that is, and just comes right to the spot. The post is wide open.
I'll tell you what, Compton is as effective as anybody of timing the snap. He's got about a 2-yard head start on anybody, and they haven't called him for offside yet. Goins' kick is good, and it's 16-14. Firebirds protecting a 2-point lead with 4:31 left in the half on Fox Sports Net. Firebirds leading the Rampage 16-14. Mark Patrick and Charles Arbuckle back. Nice crowd on hand tonight at Conseco Fieldhouse. And the Birds are back at Conseco Sunday, July 14th, when the Los Angeles Avengers come to town. It's a 3:30 kickoff. Be sure and get down to Conseco early to catch the spectacular Grant Communications pregame show. Tickets are available at all Ticketmaster locations. Call 239-5151.
And the Avengers, a surprising 7-4. Greg Hopkins as well as Mike Edge Hodgkins, former offensive coordinator there now.
That ball finds the end line as Havasek cannot quite handle it, so Evan will see a touchback, and the ball will come out to the 5-yard line where the Firebirds will take over. And once again, Damian Craig trots out there to play a little quarterback for the Birds. Really good first possession for Craig, as he had 2 plays, 1-for-1 passing for 26 yards, and then a touchdown running the football on the next play. He's got Johnson in motion this time as James gets used to the turf at Conseco. Can't handle it, and that play was absolutely butchered. I tell you what.
I'm disappointed in our fans tonight. I mean, you guys, all of them.
This is
look, you're right there. That,
yeah. You know who that is. That's 2. Carrot Top does not make the play. Disappointment does not begin to describe our feelings toward those fans in the front row down there. They get to keep the balls. They've got to throw back the players. Craig on 2nd and 10. He throws long. Nice position by Dolph. No flag called. It looked like Todd was climbing his back, and now he's talking a little bit of trash on top of making the play. But it looked like Brian Dolph was going to come down with it, Buck. He did a nice job of positioning himself, but just couldn't bring it down.
Did a great job, but Joseph Todd at the last second moved just enough. He's holding them the whole way. But watch right here. When they go up for the ball, Dolph thinks he's going to be on one side. Todd uses Dolph to climb up his back. Dolph is saying, hey, man, I'm 6'3". I know he can't sky up on me like that.
So 3rd down and 10. Indiana 1 of 2 on 3rd down conversion. Jay Jones in motion on the left side. Craig from his own end zone finds Jay, and he drops the football to Bud Lightside. And that is a tough possession for the Firebirds.
And this is what has happened this year. You know, they start off so strong, and then the receivers just don't come up with catches. You know, ill-advised throws, guys not protecting in the passing game, and then this is what happens. You get a 2-point lead. You think momentum is going to go. Jay makes that catch. You're still driving with another chance to score with 2 minutes and 19 seconds or 2 minutes and 20 seconds in this quarter.
Nelson Garner with a 60-yard attempt here. Note he's got a little T. They usually put like a little dot down, Buck, where they want to kick the ball, but this time Nelson's going to try a T to get a little extra space. And he's got it up in the air, but it's going to be played well short. And brought out of the end zone and buried is Darren Graham.
The only good thing about that kick, kicked it to the short side of the field, and the coverage unit was able to get down and make a good play.
About the 11-yard line is where Graham will be called down after a 13-yard return. Tomorrow on Beyond the Glory, Akeem Olajuwon blazed a trail to change the NBA, but public accusations by management led to a stormy relationship with his team that almost prevented a franchise from realizing its destiny. Akeem Olajuwon, Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net. So the Firebirds don't score for the first time tonight, and we'll see if Clint Dozell makes things go the other way quickly as he finds Willis Marshall, but Evan Lavasek makes the tackle at about the 15, so it's 2nd down and about 5.
I'll tell you, Mark, already you can tell this team is competing at a much higher level. Lavasek is going to come over, and see him locked up right there. No matter who they put in the secondary, the guys are physical. He breaks on the ball, comes up, boom. Doesn't give up much yards, but 5 is awful lot.
4th catch of the night, 44 yards for Marshall. I was talking about how much of a head start Compton's been getting. That one was the most blatant of the night.
Gary was rolling out.
This has to go against Grand Rapids, doesn't it?
Well, I can see the Rampage saying that it was against the Firebirds.
Well, sure, they're going to say that because they screwed up.
But Gary Compton was way offsides.
Well, let's have a conference.
Maybe it's
fellas.
a double neutral zone
See,
violation.
there's been way too few penalties. These guys got to start.
There was no foul on the play.
Oh, no.
1 minute timing rules are now in effect. Both teams have 3 remaining timeouts. 1 minute timing rules are now in effect.
Well, Darrell Leftwich says that the 1 minute warning came before Compton was blatantly offside.
Grand Rapids had a reprieve on that one, I tell you.
I think they did. 2nd down and 5. Just to make sure they're not going to put Compton in motion this time. Graham is in motion. He finds a football, almost loses it as Williams made the tackle, and he comes down with a 1st down at the 25 on a gain of 9.
Hugh Hunter has a shot on Dozell. Right as he releases the ball, he goes and gets a pop. But I'll tell you what, this is what makes Dozell look so effective. He's finding new receivers and still connecting with them, Mark.
I think we have a timeout Firebirds here with 52 seconds left. We do, so this is where the game comes down to timing, Buck. We'll see running plays here once in a while. We'll see Defense taking timeout, trying to get one more possession. The Bud Light Party Zone's the place to be during Firebird games. If you don't have a ticket to the Bud Light Party Zone, make sure and stop by to check it out. $20 gets you a great seat and an even better experience. Stop by any Ticketmaster outlets and pick up your seats for the Bud Light Party Zone.
It's a neat little idea. Just have a little picnic, a little sit out in the park, chill out.
Buck, is it bad luck to sit under those umbrellas indoors?
Boy, it's uncanny how I was thinking that, but I didn't really want to say it because I'm thinking, hey, not inside, maybe something else besides umbrellas.
1st and 10 for Grand Rapids. Compton's in motion on the right side. Dozell with a quick slant to Marshall. Nice play by Jay Jones to bring him down at about the 19. They'll mark it at the 20.
Jay does an excellent job, as you said, of driving on the ball. They're trying to clear out and have Marshall come underneath and maybe catch the ball and go for a longer gain.
31 seconds. Clock is running. Graham in motion on the left side. Tipped. And Graham comes up and makes a great catch. He's been really impressive tonight, Buck.
He really has. I mean, he has made every catch, bobbled a couple of balls early, but still came up with them.
Ben Davis' product has made the home folks proud here.
Well, I'll tell you, I thought one of the Firebirds, I thought it was going to be an interception because you could see so many people, but right there, Darren Graham goes for it. You can see Jay Jones sees it as well, but he doesn't have a chance. And Graham, shoestring catch off the carpet. Excellent job by him.
This time Grand Rapids takes a timeout, so each team has 2 timeouts remaining. Firebirds leading it by 2, and unless they would get a turnover here, Buck, it's going to be very difficult for them to get another possession in this game. They will get the first kickoff of the second half. Here are the remaining games for the Firebirds in this season, and it's a tough way to go.
San Jose, LA expansion franchise, Chicago in their division. They have to, I think, be 7-7. They can go at 6-8, but 7-7 gets them in with a little bit more comfort level. You don't want to be the 16th seed in the playoff, and you really want to have an opportunity once you get there to do something. San Jose has just played outstanding this year.
There's never been a team go through the regular season in the Arena Football League undefeated. San Jose has that opportunity. I think Dallas will beat them this week. We'll see. Gary Compton makes a catch, so that's a first down for Grand Rapids with 13 seconds left. The former Firebird gets it out of bounds and stops the clock.
It's an interesting psyche when the guy comes back that played with you. It seems like the players on that team play a little bit harder. They know that he has in his mind that he's going to make big plays. You want to try to stop him.
First down, and they can actually get a first down without scoring a touchdown. 13 seconds left. Compton on the left side. Graham in motion. Dozell batted down again by Leroy Thompson. Big play.
Huge play by Leroy Thompson. You know, the last few weeks, even though the Firebirds have struggled, Leroy Thompson has been a gem for him. He has played well on defense, has played well on offense as far as protection, and here's the reason why. Pepper likes to make plays. You can see, good job by him getting up, getting those hands up, knocking the ball down.
Dozell has been a quarterback of streaks tonight. That ends a streak of 6 straight completions. He's had 2 different streaks of 5 straight incompletions.
But it doesn't bother him. He seems the same way, whether he's making completions or incompletions.
2nd and 10. He pumps. He throws, and it's dropped. When you know that we talked up Graham and he drops the football. Let's see what the call is here. Perhaps Leroy Thompson out of the box.
Yeah, they're going to call something on Leroy, whether it's out of the box or because right away, one of the Rampages.
Illegal defense. Number 33, the linebacker was too wide. Half the distance to the goal.
That was a call. Leroy Thompson's out of the box.
Here's your box here. Leroy Thompson is going to come right in here. Cannot get out of that box. Now, normally you rush, but he stayed there. Actually, Leroy stays as wide as the widest rusher, but they call him for that one. I don't know about that one, Mark. Here's Leroy. Here's the widest rusher. He doesn't go outside of that, and that's not a very good call.
Well, it gives Grand Rapids a first down, which is inconsequential. Graham in motion. Dozell pumps, lays it up there. Touchdown, Gary Compton.
Good call by the Rampage, working 3 receivers on one side, and then you just let Gary Compton get out of the mess, come back to the other side. Tough position for Greg Williams to try to cover a man all the way from the other side of the field the whole time.
I'm not so sure that that call wasn't made by Todd Hamill, the backup quarterback, because as soon as they scored a touchdown, about 4 guys all turned around and point.
Greg Williams, but nobody has Compton. You can see they're supposed to pass the receivers off. Greg gets off too late.
Goins gets the extra point, and we've got 2 seconds remaining. And the Rampage lead at 21-16.
I'll tell you what, Lavasek has a chance here. And he also has a chance coming out. Last week, after halftime, he scored on the kickoff return, 54 yards. So let's see if he can make a big play here and then come back again.
That's perfect use of the clock.
Yes.
As they score with 2 seconds remaining.
Didn't use any running plays either.
Firebirds with one more opportunity, but let's see what Gary Compton looked like when he was wearing the Firebirds uniform.
Here's 2, just a different uniform. You know, and Gary Compton right here, nice job by him. That game had an outstanding game, and you thought, man, this guy is really going to take the place of Greg Hopkins for the Firebirds. Didn't quite work out. But I don't know if you can blame Gary Compton or Terrence Davis for all of those woes of the Firebirds. 3 of 6 losses. The Birds had lost by a total of 8 points.
Well, let's see what Goins does with this one, whether he goes ahead and kicks it deep or squibs it. He does kick it deep, and he's going to give a chance to Jay Jones, who takes it, finds the middle of the field, a little bit of a seam. He's got some running room, but he's going to be brought down about midfield, so that's the end of the first half. As Jay Jones give it a go. Not quite enough, 30 yards on the return. And that brings us to halftime, where the Firebirds trail the Rampage 21-16. We'll take a break and come back with our halftime activity when we return on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back inside Conseco Fieldhouse. The Grand Rapids Rampage leading the Indiana Firebirds at halftime, 21-16. Hello, everyone. Buddy Paul Jones once again back down on the sidelines. And if you followed arena football, you're fully aware that at the end of each season, they hand out the Built Ford Tough Man of the Year. It's based on durability and also community involvement and just overall toughness. A guy who has to be a leading candidate for this year's award is the Firebirds' Kyle Moore-Brown. I caught up with him earlier this week at practice. Kyle Moore-Brown is in his 8th season with the Firebirds, and you have missed exactly how many games, Kyle, during that span?
0.
0 games.
None at all.
That's 118 straight now for this guy. What's the secret?
God. I mean, I believe in God. It just came from Bible study. I'm a firm believer in Him. Without Him, I don't think nothing is capable for me to do. So I just keep my faith in Him and continue to go out there and work hard and try to do the right thing by my body, not going out there doing something crazy, and let Him work through me. So.
Got to have a little luck, too, because you're down in the trenches, a lot of bodies flying around. You never know who's going to land on your legs.
You're right. Like I said, stand in the weight room and stay in my body. I didn't want to, do anything that's crazy to my body. So try to do the right thing in the weight room and come out here in condition and listen to what Coach Daly has to say and hope to God that nothing happens to me. So
I'm wondering, does this streak mean something to you? Is there a little bit of pride involved now?
It's not my streak, it's my teammates. I know they count on me, so I'm more apt to say, I want to be there for them, not for myself. I mean, if it continuing to go 200 games, so be it. But I want to be there for my team. If I can help my team win, that's what I want to do.
when you were in college, you played at Kansas, you played defensive line, and you had maybe a little misconception about those offensive linemen, and now you can relate. Tell me about what you thought of offensive linemen first off.
I thought they were just big, lazy guys that really didn't do anything. I thought defense was more aggressive. But I really appreciate now on the offensive side of the ball because it's learning and it's being passive, seeing what's in front of you and adjusting to it. So I really love offense more than I love defense now. So it was a change for me, but it was a good one.
By playing both positions, does it help you play each of those positions?
Yes, because you prepare each and every week. I got good pass rushes I go against every day here in Indiana. But I'm just knowing what guys are capable of doing, and I look their tendencies and how they go about doing things, and I set them a certain way. So it's good to know both sides of the ball.
How long can this streak go, Kyle? I don't want to be the SI jinx here.
Only God knows. I'll just keep playing one play at a time, every single time, and he give me the opportunity to play that play. I'll play that play and leave it up to him.
Kyle Moore-Brown, a heck of a guy for the Firebirds and always a leading candidate for that Man of the Year award. He finished second in the balloting last season. Mark Patrick and Charles Arbuckle will rejoin you when we come back here at halftime at Conseco Fieldhouse. Grand Rapids Rampage leading the Firebirds for now, 21-16.
We're back at Conseco Fieldhouse. Grand Rapids leading the Firebirds 21-16. Mark Patrick along with Charles Arbuckle. And it was a great start for the Firebirds, Buck. I thought they lost a little rhythm when they made the quarterback change.
Well, I don't know. I mean, both quarterbacks got points on the board, but it's been the MO for the Firebirds all year. They get 2 quick scores or a quick touchdown and a field goal and then kind of go in the tank in the second quarter, and we've seen that all year.
And it was the second quarter that Gary Compton decided to come alive against his old teammates. And he just knew coming in that this was going to happen.
Well, you know he wants to make big plays, and Dozel's going to help him out. But before that, Eddie Brown with a nice touchdown right off the bat. Then Damian Craig, quarterback out of Auburn, played a few years with the Carolina Panthers. Nice move. But then Gary Compton show takes over in the second quarter because he felt jaded when he left here. 4 touchdowns he gave the Firebirds. They gave him nothing in return. He scores 2 tonight, Mark.
Let's take a look at the stats brought to you by Miller Brewing Company, and they are stats that most definitively are in favor of the Grand Rapids Rampage, especially in time of possession. Of course, their first drive of the game, they had over 6 minutes, and they didn't put any points on the board, but they have gotten a good performance, as always, by Clint Dozel, who's thrown for 135 yards on a 14 of 27 3-touchdown performance in the first half.
And let's look at it also, no turnovers for either team. So both of them know they have to get this win to get some momentum going into the playoffs, and they're playing some excellent football, very physical football. Let's expect more of that in the second half.
How about 30 plays for Grand Rapids, only 13 for the Firebirds? That might be a little telling stat. Those boots are made for walking, and walking we're going to do right into a break on Fox Sports Net. Firebirds trailing 21-16 at the half. They'll have the football to start the second half. Buck, you make any changes?
Well, Mark, I'll be interested to see what they do with this quarterback situation, if they're going to go with one guy in the second half to see after the first half who played the best, and also the receiver mix. You know, you can't keep doing guys where they're playing separate series, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Damian Craig came in the first completion he makes of the night, goes for 26 yards, and then he scores a touchdown on the next play. But his second series, he comes in, he goes 0 for 3, and the Firebirds are forced to kick the ball away.
Well, and I'll tell you, that's what happens. When you sit on that sideline, teams don't know you. They make adjustments to you, then they get used to you. Raymond is getting cold, he gets cold. So it'll be interesting to see how they work together on this if they have to come back in again. It'll be interesting.
Go ahead and name a Super Bowl champion that alternated quarterbacks.
None.
Thank you. We'll be back for the second half of arena football action. When we return, the Firebirds get the ball to start the second half, trailing 21-16. Back at Conseco Fieldhouse, and before we get underway with the second half kickoff, let's once again rejoin Paul Jones, who's standing by with Coach Mike Daly.
Thank you very much, Mark. Coach, we saw Damian Craig at quarterback, Raymond Filyaw, a little rotation there in the first half. What will be the plan for the second?
Well, we'll probably stay with it here at the start of the second half. We'll see how it goes, you know.
Damian did a couple good things, brought a little spark to us. We'll see how the game's progressing and go from there.
You have 2 quarters left in this one. Can't afford another loss. What do you tell your guys at halftime?
Well, they're going to go out and fight and make a play. You know, we had a couple opportunities the first half. Balls off the net. We had 2 chances to get the ball off the net, didn't make the play. We got to make those kind of plays, and that's what I told them at halftime.
All right, best of luck in the second half, Coach. Thank you. Back to you, Mark.
All right, thank you, PJ. And you can tell that Coach Daly is not yet totally into this game by how good his hair looks at this point, Buck, because generally, once he really gets serious, he's got it all mussed up.
Well, I tell you, and it's also a thing, you see Raymond Filiaw's numbers 4 of 6. Did some great things, but the offense, like you said, I mean, it's tough to get a rhythm. It's tough as a receiver, it's tough as a quarterback. I know they want to look at some different guys, but let's see if they go with one particular unit and ride the wave with them.
Yeah, they have, I guess, what you could call your familiar unit with Filia and the 3 wide receivers that have seen the majority of playing time this season for the Firebirds. And then the new unit with Damian Craig at quarterback. And also, you've got that man, Brian Dolph, who has been playing. A guy by the name of Jim Ballard was signed this week by the Firebirds, a quarterback. They just continue to look for new talent and keep trying guys.
You know, in the league, they talk about, the NFL, they talk about street free agents. But in the Arena Football League, those street free agents become more and more important. A guy like James Johnson, they can just come off the street. We talked about also Evan Lavasek now has a chance. You don't want to burn him in that last series. He's the return guy now.
He is back for the second half kickoff, which is sponsored by Ace Rent-A-Car. The Fabulous Flames, as you see in the background, Buck, have added boots to their repertoire here tonight. Onside kick to start things off. There's a loose football, and it looks like Leroy Thompson makes a nice heads-up play to get down and get on it. It looked like Lucas Yarnell, the big lineman for Grand Rapids, was going to be able to make the play, but he just couldn't get on top of it in time.
2 wily veterans. Jay Jones tries to make the play. He's going to get blasted here.
Now, okay, why can he get blasted? And we talk about that in the first half, and Gary Compton cannot.
It's a screwy rule. It is the way this rule is designed. There's things Tim Markham brought up. Hey, I'm telling you, you have to give the guy impetus to catch the ball, but right there, they're going to give him a chance to get blown up on the onside kick. Go look at the rule book, guy.
Filia throws. He's got Eddie Brown, and he's got 6. Touchdown.
Hey. While we were doing our little argument there, Eddie gets open and finds a gap in there, and Raymond Filia finds him for 6. What they did in the first half, right off the bat. These 2 guys say, hey, look, we're not going to be in long. We're going to make the most of it. You give Eddie Brown all that cushion, that's 6 points easily.
I'll tell you what, that might be a big momentum turner. If Grand Rapids gets that football and gets it in the end zone, the Firebirds are really looking at a come-from-behind game. And now they're back on top with the touchdown, and Nelson Garner can make it a 3-point game here with this extra point. He's got it up and through, and it's 23-21 Rampage. I'm not a very smart man, Buck. I should have said 2. There's Eddie. Let's look at it from up top.
Great shot from up top. Eddie Brown's just going to work his angle over here. There's no one covering him. These 2 guys are occupied, so you would think number 7 is going to come down to Mont Smith and cover his man, but they're playing a cover 2 type of situation. But the underneath man has to stay with Eddie Brown.
Well, the Firebirds answer in less than a minute. So let's take a look at the Ace Rent-A-Car drive summary. And this is how quick it happens for the Firebirds. 1 play, 13 yards in 7 seconds.
Well, you know, and the thing is, they have to score a lot of points because, you know, Grand Rapids has that offense. Last week, the Firebirds only came up with 21. This week, 23 already.
The stops, as we mentioned before the game, are really all important. And if the Firebirds can come up with a couple of more, they'll be in fabulous shape as Nelson Garner gets set to kick it off again. The fans come alive. You know, it just seems, Buck, that, as you mentioned at halftime, it's so many close calls for the Firebirds this year. seem to sit on a lead and sit on a lead until the very last minute, and they lose it.
Well, and last year they win these games. You know, Chicago, Orlando, Tampa Bay, you have to win those games. The total of those point differentials, 8 points. They lost all 3 of those games by 8 total points.
Nice kick by Nelson to start things off, and that found the concrete portion. And by the ground rules, that means that's an automatic touchback. So Grand Rapids will get the ball at the 5-yard line. And it looks like one of the Rampage a little shaken up. That's Corey Mayfield, big 331-pound lineman out of Oklahoma. Oklahoma, he's a big old shooter, big old boomer shooter.
Teammate Rod Manuel also out of Oklahoma.
We have seen a really good performance from an Indiana product here tonight. Ben Davis's Darren Graham, the rookie out of IU. Here's a pitch. They started the first half with a running play. They start the second half with a running play. This time it's Travis McDonald out of Missouri, and he gets the football out for about an 8-yard gain for 2nd and 2.
Well, good job of blocking. You can see Leroy Thompson trying to get outside, and then when they force that, he and Lavasek are outside. Travis McDonald keeps those feet moving, holds on to the ball, puts it in the proper hand to the sideline hand. Good job by him of gaining some good yards.
First carry of the night for McDonald. 2nd and 2 for Clint Dozell and the Grand Rapids Rampage. Gary Compton's in motion. Dozell lots of time. He finds Darren Graham, and he's got it at about the 21-yard line. That'll mark him there for a first down after a gain of 8.
And Dozell hits that 3rd, 4th, or 5th step, and boom, that ball is out of there. Don't get many interceptions against this guy. However, this year he has 15 coming into today's game. 59 touches to go with that.
Got a whistle and officials timeout here. Rich Young's having a little equipment problem, Buck. Something wrong with his helmet.
Tim Doggett gonna help him out.
I tell you what, they carry the impact wrenches over there, the cordless screwdrivers. They've got it all. I'm very envious, Buck.
You're a helmet aficionado. I figured it out.
I tell you.
I hear you talk. Every guy you talk to from NFL, college football, AFL, you talk about the helmets.
Well, you notice remember the Jay Gruden face mask?
Yeah.
We have not seen that from anybody else since, and that's good because that is the ugliest face mask in the history of professional football at any level.
Well, and you know, the ugliest helmet of all time was Joe Theismann with the one. No quarterback should wear just the one face bar. You know, you got to have, if you're going to get out there with the guys, you know, you got to put the whole thing in your face.
You go all the way back to Billy Kilmer and Joe Cap.
Yeah.
They didn't even wear a chin strap with them. They had those big fat faces sticking out of that thing. How do those guys live?
Now, when you see some of these old timers and you see their face before the face mask, it's unbelievable. Nose all over to the right or left side of their face, hands all gnarled up.
Hey, your fingers are kind of going different directions, Buck.
Yeah, they're working a little bit on me.
Buck, of course, 58-year veteran of the National Football League. 12:18 to go. Dozell brings him up. 1st and 10. Compton's in motion. Another pitch play. McDonald gets outside, and he's got about another 5 yards. And I'll tell you what, Lavasek took a lick as he tried to bring down the big 235-pounder.
Well, and they've seen something in film that makes them think they can rush against the Firebirds, who are normally pretty sound. But you can see that one block there. There's other blocks there. They're trying to get some momentum. And the big McDonald is showing some foot speed there. If you look at their defense rushing, the Firebirds are 4th in the league at 12.6 yards per game given up.
2nd and 5. Compton's in motion. Oh, great play by Leroy Thompson. Untouched. Dozell wants a face mask, but they're not going to give it to him. I'll tell you what, Leroy, I never remember him making such an impact on defense, Buck. He's had a couple of batted passes tonight and that quarterback sack.
Last year there was some games Leroy really showed off. This year, a couple of weeks ago as well, he's really playing well. Him and Rich Young, remember on that goal line stance. He's made plays when they really needed him, and you can see Chris Snyder was there as well, who's leading the team in sacks with 3.5 coming into tonight's game.
So that sets up a 3rd down and a little more than 10. As Willis Marshall comes to the right side with Compton this time, and it will be Marshall in loop motion. Dozell is back, stumbles, time, throws, picked off in the end zone by Lavasek. They're going to say nothing. Yes, now they give him the interception. Now, how do I make the call from 50 yards away, and these guys are looking right at it and take forever? I should be an official in the arena.
You're a Mensa member.
1st and 10 Birds when we come back. Firebirds have a 2-point lead, and they've got the football thanks to the first turnover of the game.
Mark, I want to focus on Leroy Thompson and Rich Young. Normally they're not in the game together, but tonight they put Leroy at the defensive end. They use Rich Young at the MAC, and then Brian Dolph at the H. And this has caused pressure the play before, and you're going to see some pressure now by Rich Young up the middle, hitting Dozell low in the legs, which forces him not to get his legs behind that throw. Good job by Evan Lavasek coming up with the interception.
Well, let's see what Paul Jones has to add to this extravaganza.
Mark, you never know who you're going to run into at a Firebirds game, and it's the Pacer, Ron Artest, here with his family. Is this your first Firebird game, Ron?
Yeah, it's my first Firebird game, first arena football game, and we're enjoying it so far.
Yeah, what do you and your family think about it? Pretty fast-paced, high-scoring game.
Yeah, I know, high-scoring, fast-paced, different from the NFL. I see the yard is like a little bit different, a little shorter, but it's still fun. My son loves it.
Can't let you go without getting your quick thoughts on the new Pacer, Fred Jones.
I mean, I heard he's like a point guard, shooting guard, so I seen him play in the NCAA. He's pretty good, and it's going to be a good pickup for us.
Yeah, all right, well, thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of the second half, Ron.
We will, definitely.
Back to you, Mark.
He'd be a good player in this league.
There's no bigger Jekyll and Hyde than the guy you're looking at right there. I mean, he is the greatest guy off the court you're ever going to talk to. And, man, you put the uniform on, and he is just mean.
Yes.
Nice rip there by Willis Marshall to bring down Donnie Caldwell.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he asked next week if he could come to practice and work, because he loves physical. He's a physical player.
I'll tell you what, he would go both ways in the Arena League, undoubtedly. And Caldwell with a nice stop and go pattern here. And he did a good job of hanging on, because that was textbook by Willis Marshall. 2nd down and 5 now for the Firebirds, and we are not seeing Damian Craig this series. We are seeing some new faces around Raymond Filiaw, including Donnie Caldwell, who is in motion. Raymond looks downfield. He's going to run. He's got enough for a first down, and boy, shows some pretty good strength here. Let's see what the flag is.
Funny thing is, Raymond wanted to go down, and they held him up till the big guys could get there and kind of smush him. Eddie Brown's going to be offsides on that play.
I'll tell you what, Israel Rayborn is one. There are some physical oddities in this league, and Rayborn is one of them. I mean, he just is mammoth. Look at that. Pacers might have looked at him if they'd had a 2nd-round pick.
He's a big guy.
Offside, offense, number 17, half the distance to the goal, repeat 2nd down.
And you can see Eddie, you're not going to see him. He's going to come on the outside right there. He's moving before you can't have two guys in motion, first of all, but he's moving before the snap of the ball.
2nd down and 10 then on the penalty against the Birds, which wipes out a first down. Penalties tonight have been a little bit more rare for the Firebirds than usual. That's their 3rd of the night. 23-21 Indiana, 9:20 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Van Johnson in motion now for the Firebirds. Filiaw back, rolls right, flips it out of bounds to stay out of trouble. And 60, 62, 63 fans touch it before finally that man makes the play and Junior steals it away.
That's a good play by Junior, man. He goes up and grabs it. Look at all these people that have a chance at the ball. Now, everybody's going to go home in the crowd and say they have a chance at this ball. It's going to be a million people.
That's Pete Gillen that made that play, isn't it?
And look at his son. Watch his son. He tried to tuck it away.
Duke is Duke. They are on TD more than Leave It to Beaver. Reruns. Well, big down here. This is exactly where the Firebirds didn't come up a while ago. At 3rd down and 10 from the 5. The throw. Caldwell's got it. He's got a little running room on the outside. And he 15. First down, Birds.
And Caldwell from the school of Eddie Brown celebration. Great job. I like this route too. He comes back to the football, catches the ball, then looks for his block. I mean, watch this. He's gonna make Todd just turn around and leave him there, and then leave him again, and then leave him another time. This is nice.
Let's go back down to PJ.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Donnie Caldwell, who just made that nice catch. If his name rings a bell and you follow the XFL, you'll know that he was the player in on the first kickoff of that league, and he got injured in the very strange way they do the coin toss, separated his shoulder as they rolled the ball out there. Now he's playing in the Arena Football League and been injured for much of the season, but he's making some contributions tonight.
Michael Baker almost separated him from the football on this smash. Check it out.
High impact, high collision. If you could hear it, unbelievable. Watch right here. Boom!
Wow. Donnie right back up, and that's why, well, the name on his uniform was He Liked Me. And that's the kind of friendly guy he is, Buck. Of course, he just has Caldwell here in the Arena League. Eddie's on the pitch. He's going to cut it up. Not much running room there, and it'll stay third down at about 5 as the Firebirds try and run the football. Grand Rapids has gone that route on several occasions tonight.
Well, I think you have a mix of people that you want to see. Donnie Caldwell has been a guy in practice that's made plays. You see him in practice knowing that he wants an opportunity. And you can see tonight why they have been so high on him. He's getting a chance tonight to show what he can do.
6:44 with the clock running and the Firebirds protecting a 2-point lead. Caldwell's to the left side. Van Johnson now goes in motion on the left. Eddie's to the right. Filia, the lob, and is there a flag? No. Lots of contact there by Joseph Todd of the Walden. Good morning. Against Van Johnson, but no penalty. And Van's going, hey, how about the shirt grab? Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
And Van doesn't complain much, but he has a reason to complain here. He beats the defender right off the bat. Todd is holding him from Jump Street, still holding him. You know, I mean, I don't know what more you can do.
More hands than Calgon on that shirt, I got to tell you. Well, that brings up 4th down, and the Firebirds are going to kick it. 26-yard field goal from Nelson Garner. Filia to hold. Nelly's got it up, and he missed. Oh, it's good. Wow. Baker thought it was no good. I kind of wondered about it, Buck,
and it was a late call by the official.
It had plenty of height, so we'll give Nelly credit for a wonderful kick. It's a no-doubter as we go to break. The Birds lead at 26. Woo, 21. Firebirds football on Fox Sports Net. Mike Daly, well, not completely feeling good about this one right now, but his team does have a 5-point advantage with 5:40 going in the third. And once again, Nelson Garner will tee it up for the Birds. What do you think, Buck? A little onside kick here just to shake things up?
You know, you never know with these Firebirds, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Garner has done a really good job tonight at kicking the ball off on kickoffs. And he's got this one deep. And as soon as I say that, he leaves it short where Graham makes the play, and he's run out of bounds on nice coverage at the 10-yard line by Jay Jones.
The only one that you can chalk up to Nelson, and really shouldn't be the 60-something yarder. I mean, that's an awful long kick. But other than that, he has been solid tonight.
So the ball is going to be at the 10 for Clint Dozell and the Grand Rapids Rampage. There you see the back of Jay Jones, who has been on the field a lot tonight, Buck, and done a really good job both sides of the football.
Mark, they've been 10 of the last 11 years in the playoffs, so the Firebirds must keep this going if they're going to get in again this year.
Michael Baker, the touchdown maker, is in motion on the right side. Dozell finds him, and he gets a yard, about a yard short of the first down there, as he's brought down by Evan Lavasek, who's had a great game defensively for the Firebirds, including the only turnover of this game that led to the last field goal by Indiana.
Michael Baker just really getting his stride back. Got hurt in the first game against the Firebirds and missed 7 weeks. Last week scored a touchdown against Georgia, had his own drive named after him. Michael Baker had an excellent series last week.
Second down, a little more than a yard. Baker's in motion on the left side. The quick in comes to Willis Marshall, and depends on where they mark it. They're going to give him a first down on the mark. And that's the 6th catch of the night for Marshall. First down, Grand Rapids.
Well, watch Baker in motion. He's going to come right away and just right there. Look, the ball's in the air. That's awful close. He hits the man.
That's not close.
You can't do that.
That's offensive interference. That's not even close.
You cannot hit the guy. And the line judge over there, what is he thinking? He goes right after him. That's his call.
Checking out the chicks in the stand.
That is his call to make.
Graham's in motion. Dozell loses the football, and the Firebirds are on top of it. Indiana football. Past the pine tar, Clint. You left that one on the carpet.
Chris Snyder, AFL Defensive Player of the Week versus Detroit, having a breakout year. Not only does he force the fumble, he also gets the fumble. Almost has a sack on this. Good job by, watch Chris Snyder at the lap. Actually, Dozell just loses the ball. So Chris Snyder gets a gift, courtesy of Clint Dozell.
Well, Damian Craig's into the game for the Firebirds. I won't pretend to understand it. I'll simply call it. 1st and 10, Indiana. Brian Dolph is to the left side. Number 7 is James Johnson, also to the left and in motion. Craig throws his way, and that is one of the better plays we've ever seen. The ball gets stuck.
That is classic.
And you gotta love Joseph Todd saying, hey, it's a live football, man. You can play it.
And look how he goes up. He skies for the ball. Watch, the ball stuck. Joseph Todd says, hey, I'm going to go grab the rim and pull the ball down. It's mine. And he's going to tell the official, no, I should be able to run with this.
Well, that ought to be on everybody's highlights tonight. Second down and 10. The Firebirds have to score. It's 2nd and goal. Craig going to try and run it. No! Runs out of room, and he really gets smashed by Tawambi Settles, who puts a Tawambi on Craig he's going to remember.
And Brian Dolph was open right away. And this is one thing Damon has to stay away from. In this league now, you can get out there in the open sometimes, but you'll get a shot. They'll take a shot on you. And it's such a compressed area. These guys get to you quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I think that's probably the difference. That's probably a 15 or 20-yard gain in the NFL for Damian Craig because of his speed and elusiveness, but there's just not enough field in the Arena Football League to do that. So it's 3rd down and goal, and that one's batted down. And it almost looked like the old fumble Rooski because Aaron Johnson picks it up. So, again, Craig does not have a good possession when the Firebirds really could have put some space between themselves and the Rampage with a touchdown.
And we've seen so many things happen tonight. You have Joseph Todd on the ground there.
I didn't see what happened to him in the end zone, but
so much was going on behind the line of scrimmage.
Nelson Gardner is going to put this one down just inside the 15-yard line for a 22-yard attempt. And if he were to kick this football, it would give the Firebirds an 8-point lead. Let's take a look at maybe what happened here in the end zone.
Todd's going to be back in the end zone.
Oh, he ran into his own man.
Got the wind knocked
He ran
out.
into Willis Marshall. He just got the wind knocked out. So he's up and about. Joseph Todd out of Mississippi Valley State. 2nd year in the league. As we mentioned earlier, it's a radio name, isn't it? But he's a little guy, and he's listed at 5'9", but I really wonder if he's even close to that.
5'7", maybe.
So, with the 2-minute mark approaching in the 3rd quarter, Garner will try this 22-yard field goal. Philyaw gets it down. Nelly's got it in the air and good. So the Firebirds take the lead. 29-21, 8-point advantage over the Rampage. But it leaves Grand Rapids in striking distance with a touchdown and 2-point conversion.
After last year when these teams have scored so many points against each other.
It's a lot different game.
Yeah, it is. It is a whole lot different. But a little bit more exciting because they're both going back and forth.
And there have been a couple of defensive stops. Hey, Bo Schembechler, everybody. The Firebirds return to action at Conseco Fieldhouse Sunday, July 14th, when they face the Los Angeles Avengers. It's 3:30 kickoff. Get down here early to catch the spectacular Grant Communications pregame show. Tickets are available at all Ticketmaster locations. You can call 239-5151. Well, we'll see if Nelly can get a little bit more foot into it this time. He's been exceptionally good tonight. The lone exception, really not his fault, the block of an extra point.
He had the block, and like I said, the 63-yard field goal that goes against him. But in my book, that's a punt in this league, basically.
Yeah.
Big Kyle Moore Brown, 118 straight games, Mark. Hadn't missed a game in his AFL career.
That's pretty phenomenal when you look at the injuries that really occur playing on this hard artificial surface, the padding that surrounds the field, all the things that can happen in the piles, and he's done it.
A great job by PJ of talking to him at halftime as well.
Nelly's got this one against the big net, and that's where Graham plays it on a bounce, gets his way out to about the 13-yard line where he's brought down there. On a nice tackle by Aaron Johnson. Out of Ball State, the 6'5", 330-pounder.
This is one of the things. This year, the AFL, they have done terrible. 1-5, but you see against the Central Division, Grand Rapids, Detroit, Chicago, 3-1. So the Firebirds have to figure out a way when they go to San Jose after they worry about this game. San Jose next week, the LA Avengers, and then hopefully they can win some games.
Well, the Central Division is really down this year. Yeah. The South is horrid. The Central is somewhere near mediocre. The West exceptionally strong. 4 of the top 5 teams in the league are out of the West. There's the completion to about the 23-yard line of Indiana as Graham again makes the catch. And he has been really exceptional here tonight as he's come home in front of the hometown fans and made quite the debut.
You talk about that Central Division. Last year, these two teams were cream of the crop. Then you had Chicago also, but Darren Graham wasn't around for that. He's showing tonight why he was so successful at IU.
7 catches for 68 yards, and the new face in the backfield is Michael Blair out of Ball State, number 27. Put on some weight since he played for the Cardinals. Dozell all the time in the world, and you can't do that with him. Touchdown, Grand Rapids, Gary Compton again. His 23-yard touch is the 3rd of the night.
And sooner or later, you know, you can't give him that room. They're
you just can't give Dozell this much time. No. He looks and looks and has the rhythm and puts it right on the money.
Aaron Johnson falls down. There's no pressure on Dozell. He's just sitting back there all day long. Jay Jones trying to stay with Gary Compton. Compton catches the ball. He said, I'm not fast, but I can score some touchdowns on you.
So as we speculated, Grand Rapids will go for 2 here to try and tie this one, but the third quarter horn will get them first, so they'll have a little bit more time to discuss the play. Well, I guess they'll go ahead and run the play, and then the quarter break will take place.
There's no running of the clock anyway, so they said let it go.
So the all-important 2-point conversion. Compton is going to go in motion on the right side. Blair is in the backfield. Dozell rolls. Compton is knocked down. He throws to the back of the end zone, and look at that catch. Oh, they give it to Willis Marshall.
Willis Marshall had a great touchdown catch earlier. He follows up with a nice 2-point conversion. ties the game up.
Everybody in the house has got 29. Who will end up with more in the final horn sound? We'll find out next. Back at Conseco Fieldhouse, Clint Dozell has had his ups and downs. There was a pick earlier, Buck, but you know to never shut the door on the guy, even when he's turning the ball over.
Well, he doesn't remember things. I mean, he forgets about it and is able to come back and make plays. And one of them right here is a great job by Willis Marshall of just going up, getting the ball, getting knocked into the, I mean, there's nothing there to protect him, but he still comes up with a nice grab.
That tied the game. Grand Rapids had been down by 8. The Firebirds had kicked a field goal in their last possession. So Grand Rapids kicks again into the net. And Lavasek can't make the play. Eddie Brown in the safety position does. Gets to the outside, and EB is off to about the 21-yard line. And that'll be where the Firebirds take over on the 21-yard return. 1st and 10, Indiana. And Raymond Filia is back into the game.
Well, it's great to have an insurance policy like Eddie Brown to protect. And Eddie, let's see what Raymond can do after sitting out that last series. You got to figure whoever scores the next touchdown, you're going to stay with them in this 4th quarter.
He's 8 for 12 with 106 yards passing on the game. 2 touchdowns for the Firebirds. Dozell is 19 of 33, 191, and 4 touches on the other side. 1 pick, 1 fumble for Grand Rapids. Filia with Brown in motion. Looks his way. He's got it in about the 7-yard line. He's knocked out of bounds there by Todd. 1st down, Birds.
You know, the smart thing between both of these guys, they're both veterans. They say right away, when we get in the game, you come to me right away because I'm going to make the catch for you, and I'm feeling a lot more smooth and comfortable. I'm not wearing that brace anymore, and I'm beating guys with double and triple moves.
Yeah, when you can make 3 moves on 1 pass route, you're in pretty good shape. Filia had the time that time. Nice job by the offensive line. The big uglies, and Filia has got a 1st and goal now at the 8-yard line. Eddie's in yo-yo motion on the left side. Filia throws. He's got Van Johnson. He's got Painted Temlatore.
Oh, and Van goes up with the double pump reverse slam. 10 consecutive games, touchdowns, and dunks.
Even the Celebrity is pleased over this play.
This is nice. You put the ball right there. Watch, it's going to go right between the 1 and the 5 and 4-6. And then watch Van. Good balance, gets up, and
I'll
goes
tell you what,
for
we talked about the diminutive size of Joseph Todd, and there is no way he can handle the 6'1", 200-pounder out of Temple, Van Johnson.
Oh, good.
So Nelson Garner with the extra point has got it true. And the Firebirds are back on top. A 7-point lead with just under 13 minutes left.
I'll tell you, Van is having one of those years where we talked about last year and coming into now that I have to be more aggressive. I'm going to get my opportunities. And you can see every time he has a chance, he's made plays. Eddie Brown tonight, right away. He and Raymond in the game. So you got to figure to stay with the hot hand.
Eight-yard touchdown for Van as the fans look on, including Dionne Warwick, who predicted that last touchdown. The Best Damn Sports Show period All-Star Summer continues Monday at 8 and 11 here on Fox Sports Net. The Spike is up in the stands here, Buck. He's making things happen out there. I think this is the largest crowd that the Firebirds have had this season. A nice one on hand at Conseco Fieldhouse. Perfect night to get out of the humidity and get in here.
I mean, this is what arena games are about. It's so hot outside all day, and these fans have been doing yard work or doing whatever. But coming in here today with this kind of game against the Arena Bowl champions, and then you talk about playoffs. Playoffs? They don't get it together. You got to get it here. Firebirds have made playoffs 10 of the last 11 years. They want to keep that streak going.
Nelson Garner gets his foot into it. This one's going to be just short And it'll be played there by Graham. And he's brought down on a nice tackle by Greg Williams, who gets down there. Hits him about the 5. His momentum takes him almost to the 10-yard line. So more than enough action tonight for Darren Graham.
Almost hits the wire, but Darren Graham has no. Greg Williams is there, Jay Jones, Van Johnson. Good coverage by the Firebirds.
So 1st and 10 for Clint Dozell, Darren Graham, and the Grand Rapids Rampage as they look to answer. Clock ticking down in this final quarter of play at Conseco Fieldhouse. Firebirds absolutely needing this one if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. The former Bird, Gary Compton, in motion on the right side. Dozell, the pump, goes down the middle, and wow, was Willis Marshall open, and Dozell's mad at himself. He just didn't lay it out there enough. Penalty flag is down.
He had him wide open. I mean,
he's going to call Rich Young for being out of the box, I think. See if he doesn't call this penalty on 42.
Illegal defense. Number 42, the linebacker was out of the box. 5-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic first down.
You're a great lip reader, Mark. But Rich Young right here goes outside of where Leroy Thompson, 33, the defensive end, is working inside.
Tell you what, Rich went out there with the pump fake.
Exactly, and that's what he was telling the official. But you got to stay inside the area where the defensive end is rushing.
1st and 10 at the 15 now. Willis Marshall in motion on the right side. Dozell throws deep. Marshall is not there. Evan Lavasek is his 2nd pick of the night. What a great play by 28. Wow.
That was very nice.
You can't get better coverage than that.
Lavasek was on him like a glove, first off, and then second off, just ran with them stride for stride, goes up and gets the ball. Look at this. This is how you play it. You put that hand on him, and then you run with him, and you know where he is. If Dozell throws it, you go get it.
They'll mark the football at the 3-yard line, but most important, the team in orange has got possession.
And Gary Compton had a step on Jay Jones, so if Dozell had looked inside, he probably would have been better off throwing it to Gary Compton, had beaten Jay Jones.
Well, that's twice that Lavasek has picked Dozell tonight, and Dozell has not been his usual brilliant self against the Firebirds. Indiana tries to take advantage. Filial still in the game. He throws to Van Johnson, who gets outside to about the 16-yard line, and that'll be a first down Birds.
And you can say the difference maker may be Lavasek, because Lavasek wasn't with the Firebirds last year. He was in Jacksonville, played in the XFL as well, but he's back now.
13-yard gain, so 1st and 10 Birds, and if they can put one on the board here, then the clock starts becoming a factor. As we click down toward the 11-minute mark in the 4th quarter, 4 catches on the night for Van for 50 yards. He's played exceptionally well. He'll go in motion now on the left side. Filial sidearms it outside to Eddie Brown, and he steps out of bounds at the 25-yard line. 2nd down and about a yard.
You know, I think you're starting to see the Eddie Brown that you're accustomed to also. Taking the brace off, the knee is feeling a lot more comfortable, and he's got Raymond Filial for 2 consecutive series. And I think that's what you want to see. These guys get a comfort level, they get some points on the board, and they put away the Arena Bowl champions.
Firebirds taking their time as they milk that clock for all it's worth. They could use a good time of possession drive here. Raymond, that ball's knocked back down. Rich Young was in the face of Corey Mayfield, but Mayfield got up just enough to knock that down. He's 6'3", 331, and he used his frame there to make a good play.
Well, first he got the push on Rich, which is a tough matchup. When you have a fullback going up against a DN, or a nose tackle for that matter, that's a tough spot. And Rich does all that he can. Big Corey Mayfield outweighs him almost by 100 times.
Firebirds are only 2 for 6 on 3rd down possessions. And they've got a big one here. 3rd and 1. Jay Jones in motion. Filia scrambles around, throws it up in the air. Touchdown, Eddie Brown.
There's some excitement in here, and Eddie Brown is one of them, but Joe Hennessy, the general manager, is up. These guys, this is what we've been waiting to see all year. If you're going to get us a penalty, go ahead on and do it like this. Celebrate, be excited, make plays. That's why this guy has been the scoring champ for 5 years in the AFL. And kids, don't give up on a play. Your quarterback needs you. You get open. You make plays. You score touchdowns. The fans love you. You can celebrate.
DeMont Smith was arguing that call, or lack thereof. He felt that Eddie tied him up somehow, but I didn't see it on the replay.
He got beat, and he was looking for his hand.
He got beat like the world's largest bass drum in West Lafayette. Nelson Garner with the extra point is no good. Oh, man. How many times have we seen that one come back to haunt the Firebirds? 13-point lead, 9:19 remaining. Everybody is kung fu fighting at Conseco Fieldhouse. Firebirds leading at 42-19, 9:19 left. Nice possession there, Buck.
That was, Mark. I mean, that's the Firebirds football you're accustomed to seeing. 42 points on the board, still 9 minutes and 19 seconds. And the defense for the Firebirds has been outstanding. Giving up only this year 45.8 points with a Rampage score at a pace of 54.7. Doesn't look like they're going to get anywhere close to that number. Firebirds must keep up the pressure.
Uncharacteristically, Grand Rapids has turned over the football 3 times tonight, and it's led to 2 field goals and a touchdown for the Firebirds. That was a touch off the Evan Lavasek interception in the end zone off Clint Dozell. So Dozell has rather large order in front of him now as his team trails by 13. And Nelson Garner to kick off again. Once again deep is Darren Graham for Grand Rapids. He plays it off the net cleanly, and he's got a seam. He's got some green. He's got the football to the 22. And it'll be first down, Grand Rapids. A little extracurricular activity down there. And we'll see if that goes against Grand Rapids or the Firebirds.
Looks like they're going to call that on Rich Young. He took a shot at one of the big uglies. I think Yarnell. I tell you, Darren Graham, he has the ability to run the football and break tackles. But watch Rich Young come right here and just plaster. Oh, he gets Yarnell. That's a sneak-em shot.
That was not even close.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 42, on the kicking team. On the kicking team, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You can see that a mile away.
Rich. Outstanding. So Dozell has a short field now to try and answer for Grand Rapids. He's run to the 9-minute mark. Graham on 5 kickoff returns has 117 yards tonight. He's in motion. Dozell looks his way, lobs it up, and the catch is made by Michael Baker at about the 3 or 4 yard line where he's brought down. And it'll be second down and a couple.
And I don't know how Dozell got that ball. There was a high-low effect. There was a defender in front and behind Michael Baker. He put just enough air on it, it will come right in that low area. You're going to see Michael Baker coming to this side of your field. And right there, he has 2 guys, one high, one low, and he's able to come up with a nice catch.
Dozell throws as many touch passes as anybody we've seen in this league, Buck. Generally, you get yourself in trouble if you get too much air into a throw. But Dozell does a good job of it. He hands the ball off to Baker here, who does not get into the end zone, but does get a first down. And he's got about 18 inches to the glory line.
You know, Dozell is a guy calling the plays, and you see the big guys up front. You got to give them credit. They have rushed for quite a few yards, and Dozell has struggled today. We talked about the Firebirds rotating quarterbacks in. Well, Dozell looks like, one guy wearing 13 and another guy wearing 31 because he has not played consistent all night.
First and goal, the handoff here, and the touchdown goes to Chris Ryan, who finally gets it in. Well, that's the 8th rushing attempt of the night for Grand Rapids for 13 yards, which never sounds significant, but 8 attempts is undoubtedly their highest of the year.
You're exactly right. I mean, this is just one with big Chris Ryan. What are they going to do? Nobody outside can stop the big 6'3", 300-pound guy, Clark in Atlanta.
So Goins on for the extra point, and he missed it. Huge. That is large. His second miss of the night. Oh my. Rampage trail it by 7 with 7:01 left. Mark Patrick and Charles Arbuckle starting the commotion at Conseco Fieldhouse. Firebirds leading at 42-35, and Grand Rapids to kick off here. They missed an extra point following a Nelson Gardner miss, so their second missed extra point of the night. Eddie Brown again fields the football, makes a nice little juke, gets it to the outside, and he's taken down at about the 13-yard line, so the second consecutive kickoff return for the veteran. And the Firebirds take over 1st and 10. Let's take a look at the Grand Rapids scoring here tonight on possessions, Buck. The last 2 years these teams have met, virtually every possession Grand Rapids scored. Tonight, they have not come up as big as they have in the past by a long shot. Raymond Filias still in the game now for Indiana. Eddie Brown goes in motion to the left side. Raymond looks. He's got golf, but the ball is tipped, and a nice play off. Tipped by a fan, and we've got our 6th ball into the stands of the night.
Well, Mark, you can even go back further. They don't include in the stats those regular season games against these guys. One thing, but they even took it another level in the playoffs in the semifinals. The fan is excited, made a great grab. But this is what happens when they get a tip ball on 1st down. 2nd and 3rd down become so important, especially at this point in the game.
The Firebirds trying to work as much clock as possible. The ideal drive here would cover about 5 minutes and end up in the end zone. 42-35 with 5:50 remaining. Filia throws over to Caldwell, and Kenyatt Morgan was standing there on the coverage, and evidently was clean.
And this is the other thing, though. The offensive linemen are Hugh Hunter, John Sikora, and Chris Snyder. They're not your normal offensive guys. You got Donnie Caldwell, who's a young guy, as well as Brian Dahl. The ebb and flow of the offense is a little bit different, and this is due to substitution. Look for Eddie Brown to get this ball here, because you know you have to pick up a 1st down at this crucial moment.
It's always dangerous when you just try and sit on the ball and don't play your normal offense. Filia finds Eddie here, but he's going to be short of a 1st down. He gets a really beneficial mark by the official. And man, this leaves 4th down and a yard. And I bet Mike Daly takes time out here to talk this over, Buck, because this is going to be the most important play of the game.
Eddie goes down far enough, but he has to come all the way back because he has to get the ball. He has to catch it, but that leaves him a yard short.
Well, Mike Daly does call that timeout. Now, he's got Nelson Gardner on the field, but let's see if they don't talk about this one a little bit. This is where one of those little rollout plays by Raymond, or one of those little oops passes by Eddie might come in handy. Tomorrow on Beyond the Glory, Akeem Olajuwon blazed a trail that changed the NBA, but public accusations by management led to a stormy relationship with his team that almost prevented a franchise from realizing its destiny. Akeem Olajuwon, Beyond the Glory, tomorrow at 8 on Fox Sports Net.
Well, Mark, you also have the way this thing works is that it was time for a possession by not your best offensive lineman, where Kyle Moore-Brown or Aaron Johnson, who is an offensive lineman, played defense in college, but they're really working him. Hugh Hunter is more of your rush guy. Chris Snyder has been the sack leader this year. So it looks like now Raymond is in the game, and they are going to go for it on fourth down.
All right, biggest play of the night. First fourth down play of the night for the Firebirds. You see number 27, Michael Blair from Ball State on the other side. He has gained a lot of weight since college.
He is huge.
Dolph in motion. Raymond rolls, throws across the middle. He's got Caldwell on a great throw and catch. Very clutch, and not exactly a safe play, but
great play, though. They give themselves an option to run to the flat with Brian Dolph, and then over the top, Donnie Caldwell. It's a dangerous play, but you got to make this play. You got to make this call. Good job by the offensive staff and Raymond Filial and Donnie Caldwell of execution. Great throw, right there on the money, Mark.
Yeah, it's not easy to hang on to that football when you got DeMont Smith on your back and you're crossing the middle. But Caldwell does it. 5 catches here in his Conseco Fieldhouse debut tonight for 65 yards. Ray in motion is Brown. He throws to Eddie. Touchdown!
Eddie took a shot on that board. I don't know how. He looks like he's a little bit shaken up, but that was an excellent catch. And I think he's a little bit banged up, Mark.
Well, how big does that make that fourth down play?
Huge.
I mean, rather than a questionable field goal attempt, the Firebirds now have put a lot of space between themselves and GR.
And how about Michael Blair almost getting to Raymond Filial, but he knows where Eddie is. He goes to Eddie, makes the play. Now they're having some substitution problems. Need a guy out there. Mark Valvo, Biggs, is running a little bit late. Doesn't have the right helmet. Trying to get out there so they don't have to burn a timeout.
I don't think even if they run out of time, they'll just probably add the 5 yards. There's still 10 seconds remaining on the play clock. So let's see if the rush job though hurts Garner on the attempt. Ah, Nelly's true. Attaboy. Firebirds with 3 minutes to go have taken a 14-point lead. We've seen stranger things happen, but this one is looking really good for the home team right now. This is just a tremendous catch from Eddie Brown. How does he hold on to this football?
Well, you know, watch Michael Blair right here. He doesn't get blocked. John Secor works inside, thinking that he has a guy inside, but it's just enough time by Eddie and Raymond of connecting. You know, Secor
let's give Raymond Filial a lot of credit on that throw.
Well, John has to work inside to make sure he ensures that the big nose tackle doesn't take on his fullback. He has to give a hand there. And then Michael Blair with the quickness still, even though he's a little bit larger now, but doesn't have enough chance to get there. Raymond Filial, as you said, with that pressure, finding this guy, Eddie Brown, here.
There's Eddie encouraging the crowd to take a shower. That's what he's doing with that towel.
You need to smell good if you're going to come to my house. You know, and
you know, Lavasek is a guy that hasn't gotten a lot of credit, Buck, but how about these 2 picks? This has been the difference in the game.
He's been great defensively all year, but also you see Gary Compton running free. However, Lavasek goes up with the nice play. 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this year. This guy's been a difference maker.
Nelson Garner is going to kick off. We're right at the 3-minute mark here, and the Firebirds really just need to kill some time. Now Nelson kicks that one out of bounds, so that'll give the ball to Grand Rapids in good field position. That's is that number 7 on the night into the stands? Oh, that guy made it clean. He started to run that football back.
Well, and it's 7, but how many have been in the stands and gone back in?
Well, there was
about like 6 or 7
there's 6 that have done that because of just bad plays by the fans.
We need to have Butterfinger account.
Hey, I don't know that these fans realize that we've got scouts from the Colts here for fans that are looking at possibly filling the stands during the preseason with some of the Firebird fans who really make a good showing. Compton's in motion. Gozell on 1st and 10 finds his man off of 2 tips. Willis Marshall has it, gets down to the 13-yard line, and Grand Rapids runs the clock.
How many times do you see a play where you get a penalty and it gives you good yardage, and you come back and you make another big play, and then on top of that, probably right here, look, Leroy Thompson almost connects on that ball, makes it go, the trajectory change, but Willis Marshall stays with it.
Leroy's got at least 3 tips tonight and a sack. Played exceptionally well on the defensive side of the football. Dozell's got a 1st and 10 at his 13. Graham's in motion. Clint winds and delivers. He's got Marshall again. And wow, there's a couple of sticks over there and a flag. But Dolph came up and just made a smart original stick, and I'm not sure what happened after that, Buck. We didn't have a good vantage point. It was behind the wall from our point of view.
Well, in the stand, the fans get up right there.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 8 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Well, they called it on Brian Dolph, and let's take a look at the replay, see what he does.
Well, Donnie Caldwell's going to come up with the initial hit. Boom, and then Dolph comes over. But you know, I'm wondering if the whistle was blown at that point. Really didn't look like enough.
That wasn't much of a hit.
Yeah, I didn't really see any.
Didn't drive him or anything. Graham in loop motion on the right side. Dozell throws to him, and boy, it's picked up. Look at Caldwell. He gets it to the 5, and that's Firebird football.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
And there's another flag. Now Dozell is arguing this, but that was just a bizarre play. We've had really some of the weirdest bounces of the ball tonight. We had a ball stuck in the net, in the
wiring, yeah,
the structuring of the net. We've had tips galore.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Indiana.
Who was it on?
Well, it was unsportsmanlike convict. I've never heard
I've
that.
Never heard that one either. But they,
wow,
right here.
That's,
but you know what? Initially, Darren Graham pushes off, so maybe the officials don't call it, but then really they get
Greg
the second
Williams
guy.
Got away with
he
one.
was
Now,
holding him.
I'm not sure which Firebird they call for a little extracurricular activity after this is over, but that was bizarre.
Darren Graham almost has a touchdown, and it goes the other way. Unbelievable.
Let's see if we can pick up, if they let this run out, where the extracurricular activity was. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Maybe it was after that. So the Firebirds simply need to kill the clock now. Filia throws across, and it's dropped by Van Johnson. Got a little bit of running room, too.
Those are the ones you hate, because you know you're wide open. Van is looking. He's thinking 6 points, the game over. We're celebrating. Golly. Those are the ones you need.
Well, we're at the 1-minute warning now, and you wonder whether Grand Rapids is going to try and stop the clock. They do have 3 timeouts remaining. We're inside the 1-minute mark, which means when the ball goes out of bounds, it will stop the clock. Filia 16 of 24 on the night, 218 yards and 5 touchdowns. And he hasn't played the whole game.
Exactly. Been playing series all the way up until the 4th quarter. Alternating series.
I think he only threw about 6 passes in the first half. He's back now, and he throws again, and that ball is broken up.
That was an excellent play.
Joseph Todd makes a good play there. And, Eddie had good position, but Todd beats him to the football, so it sets up a 3rd down and 10. And well, you're kind of talking about a dangerous area again here, Buck, with 56 seconds left.
Joseph Todd out of Mississippi Valley State, probably nicknamed Shorty because he's not 5'8". Great play by him, but you're right. They have to get a first down here, Mark.
Raymond may have drawn him offside. He steps up in their pocket, and he's got Eddie. He's going to touch them all. Touch them all, Mr. Football. Touchdown, Eddie Brown. 47 yards. There are 2 flags down. Eddie's 5th of the night.
That's a free play. And Raymond knows it. Eddie knows it. It's a free play. When they go offside, you take advantage of the defense. If they relax, you beat them deep.
Ah, that laundry's on Grand Rapids. Pick them up, put them in your pocket, and call it a touchdown.
You got the defensive lineman moving off sides, and you hear the fans in the background saying, Eddie, this is why.
The only danger here, you thought, if he drops it.
That was
because
it.
he had so much room.
Grand Rapids.
Look at Raymond's eyes. Oh, my.
Right there. And look at the throw. This is what we talk, right on the numbers. This is the Raymond field yard we're used to seeing. We talked about it in the open. Regular season, these three games, those two guys, Dozell, Filia is showing why.
Longest play of the season for Indiana, 47 yards, and Nelson Gardner has got another extra point. So it's 56-35. Turn out the lights, the party's over.
You know, you look at the Rampage, they're in the top of the league in scoring offense, but their scoring defense is terrible. 54.2 points per game, and there's going to be a celebration tonight.
Hey, the number tonight, Buck, is 4, and that's the number of turnovers Grand Rapids has. And I mean, this is just, we can't tell you how unlike this team.
All in the second half. All comes in the second half.
But 2 field goals and 2 touchdowns that the Firebirds have converted off of those 4 turnovers. And this crowd is getting a heck of a show here tonight at Conseco Fieldhouse. (56-35), and well, you look at where both teams are strong and where both teams are not.
Yeah.
The Firebirds win both tonight going away.
But you'd rather have a strong defense as the Firebirds have. And that generally, strong defense always beats the strong offense. However, the Firebirds made plays. Dozell has given them opportunities, and that's the reason why. I'll tell you another thing, Mark. It is just unbelievable how these guys have turned it on, and they need this going into next week. San Jose is going to be awful tough.
Here's the kick into the net. Nice kick again by Nelly. Compton makes a nice play to pick it up. John Sikora brings him down there. He got a lot of help from Greg Williams, and Grand Rapids has 46 seconds to pull off a miracle.
Well, you look at some of the Rampage's losses. They lost to Chicago 71-59. You know, they've gotten beat by New Jersey, not a very good team, 70-42. And they lost to Los Angeles 68-61. So they've been on the losing end of some big high-scoring games where they haven't come up, and their defense has been one of the reasons why.
This is as close to a prevent defense as you'll ever see in the Arena League. Gozell finds Compton for a big gain, and Lavasek just puts a little tattoo of a 28 on his forehead. 40 seconds left, and it'll be a first down at the 18.
Well, we talked about it at halftime. Both teams had 0 turnovers at that point. Grand Rapids has 4, and in this league, when you do that, you're bound to lose. 3-touchdown lead by the Firebirds.
First all-time receiving yardage in the Arena League now with 11,512 passing Barry Wagner. He's got 164 tonight, 9 catches and 5 touches. When more than half of your catches are touchdowns, you're doing all right. Dozell is better at pump faking than any quarterback in the league, but that one doesn't work.
He is. He's normally on fire, but the 2 games, Mark, that they played, the first game that they played earlier this year, the first offensive possession was an interception by Dozell. Tonight, they come back, and there's another ball in the stands.
Number 8 on the night, Buck. Cradled by that fan. He knows the value. He's not giving it up to the chick.
Cherish the ball, yeah.
The Eddie chant. Not unlike the movie Eddie, starring Whoopi Goldberg. Graham in motion. Dozell goes the other way to Marshall, and Jay Jones reminds him of who the home team is.
you know, you would think that this would give you a lot of confidence. Graham with his 9th catch, guy out of Indianapolis. His family's probably happy to see him on the tube and back home making some big plays.
That was Willis Marshall on that catch. But Graham has had a tremendous game here. Don't forget the Firebirds are going to return to action at Conseco Fieldhouse July 14th. It's a Sunday when the Los Angeles Avengers get into town for the 3:30 kickoff. Get here early because you'll catch the spectacular Grant Communications pregame show. Tickets available at all Ticketmaster locations. 239-5151.
You like correcting me, don't you?
Huh?
Just give you a hard time. This is a good win for the Firebirds.
Well, and a great performance by Raymond Filial. You know, I think he's been taking some unnecessary criticism when this team is losing, because I haven't really seen a big difference in the way he's been playing this year as the last year. It's just that he's had untimely turnovers, perhaps, in the final minute of a couple games.
Drop passes, certain things that are out of his control. I agree with you.
Throwing 6 touchdown passes here tonight. Dozell over the outstretched arms that time of John Sikora, and he finds Graham.
The other thing I like about Raymond is he competed. You know, he had a guy, Damian Craig, who's, you know, an outstanding talent in his own right. But Raymond Filial comes to play, played hard, made the big play. And he had to.
First and goal now for Grand Rapids. 19 seconds left. Graham's in motion. Dozell throws his way, and it's Leroy Thompson again. He has been on fire.
Leroy should win the Iron Man of the Game award for that.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
He has been all over the field. He has been the difference. He's been the spark plug. And, you know, some of these interceptions have come off of his tips.
And he's been pressuring Dozell when he hasn't necessarily made a sack or a tip. He's been there at his knees to make him think about it a little bit. So it's second down and goal to 6.
Dozell is such a rhythmic quarterback that he hasn't had that rhythm tonight.
Guilty feet have got no rhythm. He's got the touch there to Graham. So I'll tell you what, really impressive performance by the Ben Davis and IU product, but certainly in a losing cause as the Rampage close now a little bit tighter. But it's all stat. It's all gravy stat right now.
The beauty of this league also, too, Mark, is that guys like Darren Graham, who may not have had a chance to develop like you want him to, gets an opportunity here. I mean, you've seen success come from this league, especially at the wide receiver and quarterback position.
So Goins comes in for the extra point. He's missed 2 of them tonight. He's got this one through. And it's 56-42 Firebirds, and the worthless onside kick will follow.
But I wouldn't be surprised also if we start seeing some defensive specialists get a chance in the league as well, because they have to play so much in the area and run around. And defensive coaches, like Tony Dungy said a couple of weeks ago, you see some physical players out here.
Well, there's a good look at tonight's Hardy's star of the game, Eddie Brown. And boy, how can you argue with those numbers? 5 touchdowns. Phenomenal.
Eddie Brown just keeps doing it, man.
Here we go. The ATA play of the game was on this huge 4th and 1, just before an Eddie Brown touchdown catch.
Gutsy call, gutsy play. Raymond Filial, Donnie Caldwell, the new kid on the block, hits better notes than those guys and makes better catches.
That was a really good throw, an even better catch, and you say it looks run-of-the-mill. It may, except when you consider the circumstances it was made of.
And it's also a crisp route. He gives them the perfect target. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better on that. Good read by Raymond.
So here comes the onside kick from Brian Goins. 11 seconds left. Rampage still have 2 timeouts left. Oh, that was a nice little Had Grand Rapids been paying attention, they would catch that football.
They had all kind of opportunities.
They weren't paying attention.
The fan in the stand had more. Look, Eddie's like thanking him. That's a great play by him.
Give him a contract.
Yeah.
Now watch this. The outside guy gives up on the football.
That's his ball. He's in that trajectory. You see that? Oh, that's unbelievable.
That's a great play. I'll tell you what, that dad holding the little girl that's just in this direction did a good job of protecting his daughters. If we move there, check out the little chicks here.
Oh,
they were really. Dad made a great play covering them up here.
She's leaning on the board. I don't think she knows the danger of that. Look, and the dad, look, he's saying, I had to hold him off.
She's got the fabulous Firebird flame dream going through her little mind over here.
The little one is like,
they have no idea how close they were to danger. So the Firebirds now just kill the clock with, appropriately enough, Leroy Thompson. The fans wanted Eddie Brown to get another touch, as if 5 is not enough. That'll do it. The Firebirds win it 56-42, a nice win over the Rampage of Grand Rapids. Firebirds football on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. By Methodist Sports Medicine Center in partnership with Clarion Health, the official medical provider of the Indiana Firebirds. By Miller Brewing Company. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. And by Hardee's, home of the $6 burger for $3.95.
Congratulations to the Indiana Firebirds. They beat the Grand Rapids Rampage tonight here at Conseco Fieldhouse, 56-42. Joined by several of the stars. First off, Evan Lavasek, 2 interceptions on Clint Dalzell tonight. How were you all so effective at stopping him?
Defense played well tonight. The coach put us in some good coverages, made him work the ball down the field. He threw a couple balls up, and, we made some plays.
Nice job, Evan. Eddie Brown on my left here signing autographs. Eddie, 5 touchdowns tonight. It was a party here inside Conseco.
Well, I guess it's about time we were due for a party. My motivation been all week, I got off the bus Saturday after the Arizona game. I got told I was going to be cut Monday. And all week I had to hear that I was a step too slow. I couldn't get open no more. I couldn't run no more. So, I was just fighting for my job tonight.
What about the emotion going into the crowd tonight? We've seen some exuberant celebrations, but this maybe took the cake.
Well, we needed that. The guys said they needed me to lead, and they was going to follow me. So we hadn't been playing with a lot of enthusiasm, and I challenged the guys early in the week in the meeting we had that we had to play with some enthusiasm, and get after them. We did tonight.
Hey, congratulations. Raymond, real quick, 6 touchdown passes tonight, and to make matters even better, your own Celebra Duck doll. I want to present this to you as our star of the game tonight. Tell me about this performance.
Well, like Eddie said, everybody's job was on the line this week, so we want to come out and prove to coaches that we still can play, especially the first team guys. You said had a rotation going as far as every position, but we want to come out and prove to our coaches over again that we still can play.
What about that Celebra Duck? You like it? You think it looks like you?
I think they got the braids and the earrings looking for me.
Just the nose is a little bit different. Hey, congratulations tonight, Raymond.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mark and Charles, we'll send it back up to you. A very happy bunch of Indiana Firebirds.
All right, thank you, PJ. And as we look at tonight's stats, Buck, for a while, Grand Rapids was dominating in every category, but the Firebirds had the biggest number, and that was 0 on the turnover side, where Grand Rapids had 4.
And 19 points off of those 4 turnovers, which was outstanding. The time of possession, I'm sure, got back in line. But the Firebirds made the big plays when they had to. And defensively, they put Dalzell in a position where in the past, he would march down the field and come up with a touchdown. Tonight did not happen.
Phil Yaw, 17 of 26, 266 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Clint Dalzell threw for 268 yards and 5 touches, but had 3 picks on the night. And boy, as Eddie Brown said, they were thinking about cutting him on Monday.
Well, you saw the first unit had one thing, and the second unit, they came out, they made the plays, they knew your job's on the line. Everybody's job was up for grabs.
The Firebirds return home on July 14th at 3:30 against LA. A playoff berth on the line for all of us at Fox Sports. I'm Mark Patrick. Good night.